Well. I have a story for you, my friends. A long time ago, I was listening to the Tinfoil Hat podcast with Sam Tripoli. Awesome show. And I heard this interesting woman named Frantic Missy. And I was like, wow, she's full of ideas. She's got a lot of energy. I want to talk to her. And it took about 2.5 years to make this happen. But we're here today on February 3rd, 2023. Very interesting day indeed. Interesting week, interesting year. Like, holy shit. But, anyways, Missy, welcome to Loco Listens. I appreciate you being here. And as a ritual first question, we got a lot to talk about, but I want to hear more about your journey first. So, ritual first question, Missy. When did you start to speak your truth?
Ooh, well, I think the first podcast I did was uh would be Kyle's, the Big Dumb podcast. I'd never done a podcast before. He asked me to come on, and I was like, okay, I guess why not? And the first one kicked out. We had problems technically, and we recorded it. And that was the second podcast I ever did was the first one I ever did.
Mm.
And people kept asking me, people kept coming up and being like, can you come on my podcast? I heard what you said. Like, can you please come up? I'm like, that's fine. Yeah, sure. Why not? And a hobby became a studio in my house and like notebook addictions, like just composition books everywhere.
Nice.
And I haven't been able to stop speaking my truth since all this stuff happened. But I will say, when I first started getting into conspiracies is when I was 8. My family, on the way back home from my grandmother's house on Christmas Eve, got into a car accident,
Mm.
being hit by a drunk driver. And my grandmother took me, everyone else went to the hospital. I went to my grandma's house. So the day that I found out that there was no Santa Claus, my entire family was in the
Oh
hospital.
my God, that's a lot in one
So my
day.
grandmother was like, what can I do to make it right? I'm like, well, I've been watching these Time Life book commercials about aliens and the pyramids. I was like, I want that. And she got
Mm.
it for me. And I had
Mm.
to keep it at her house because my dad was a Southern Baptist minister. And there's no way in hell we're having no creepy alien garbage books in his house. So I'd go to her house for like 2 weeks out of the summer, and I'd read up on all those books. And I started highlighting stuff. And then I started taking notes on it. And then I started looking in other places. And then I started hanging out in the library and seeing what's there. And then I started reading JFK's, when the internet came along, I started reading JFK's CIA documents. CIA.gov, scroll to the bottom of the page, resources, click on the FOIA, you can search for whatever you want. So I
Mm.
was like looking at all that stuff, and it just hasn't stopped. And I swear, like, the more I feel like I've got a grip on what's going on, it just gets crazier.
That is relatable indeed, and this goes to show why you're such a sought out guest on podcasts and shows like that. And I got to give a quick shout out to Kyle from the Big Dumb podcast, a fellow Texan. He's now a married man. Sorry, ladies, he's no longer out there, but yeah,
Congratulations.
congratulations, Kyle. Um, Actually, one of my favorite episodes of his podcast was when you and Kyle talked about the conspiracy thirst traps. And since you brought up the CIA website, this might be a perfect introduction. Maybe there's people listening to this podcast now that don't know about Tartaria, but this is something that you can look up.
Tartaria.
Tartaria, and definitely puts into question the historical narrative. Now, I saw you chat with our mutual friend Micah Dank on his YouTube channel, Micah Dank Truth Bombs, and it's really interesting.
Congratulations to him too. He just put out his eighth book
Eighth book,
series,
yeah, I'm looking
and he's
forward
up
to
for being
reading
picked
that.
up by Netflix. I'm like, well, they should cancel out Cuties. This
Yeah,
makes this makes total sense.
yeah, it's been really cool. Like, I got to chat with Micah back when I first read that first book, and now I'm 7 in, and I cannot wait for the eighth. So, congratulations, Micah. But yeah, let's get
He
back
wrote
to
me into the
Tartaria
seventh
for a
book. Did you
second.
know that?
Say it
He
again.
wrote me into. I'm a character in the seventh book.
Yeah. Oh, just for people who don't really understand. So in Micah Dank's books, Into the Rabbit Hole series, he's gonna feature. Oh, he gives a shout out to Mystic Mark. My family thinks I'm crazy. He gives a shout out to, well, Alex Stein is a character. He's like a full blown podcast scene. We got Alex Jones in there in a particular way. Frantic Missy's in there. It's small world. Love it.
Yeah, I was like, I'll let you put me in your book. Oh my God, you haven't heard it yet, have you? Okay, so Micah Dank's like, here's my picture for the back of my book. What do you think? Should I shave my beard? And I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
do
yeah.
not ask me this question when I've had a little too much to drink. So instead of responding, I wrote a 30-second song about how his beard's unhygienic and all this other like 9/11 stuff that went with it. And that's how I responded to should he shave.
Nice. Sometimes, a
I'll
song is the
send if
best
you
way
want
to
me to, I
respond.
can send it to you. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, I can feature that in the end if you want me to.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Anything we can do to embarrass him, to keep him where we are is awesome. He's if you're successful, like I think he's going to be successful, we got to keep him grounded. You know, we
That's
got
what
to pick
friends
on
are
each
for,
other.
right? That's what friends are
That's
for.
what friends are for. Yep.
Yeah. Well, how about this, Missy? There's a lot that we can get into, especially like current events with this Chinese balloon. But before we get into that, I feel like our audience, the people listening now, maybe they deserve to know what is a conspiracy thirst trap, and how did this come about? Because it was, like I said, one of my favorite episodes. You guys mentioned and Antarctica. I think Tartaria was part of that.
Mhm.
What would you want to say about your experience with the thirst traps?
Well, first of all, when we talk about thirst traps, the first thing people need to understand is there was this thing called the Rainbow Gathering. It was a group of hippies, and they would go like, word of mouth, people would just show up in the middle of the woods, usually a national forest, somewhere like around Asheville or something like that. And it would be thousands and thousands and thousands of these hippies. And as you well know, of anybody who's been in the music genre, whether it's punk rock or metal or hippies or whatever, or even Dave Matthews Band people, when you have people that are fashion punks or people that are obsessed with that, they will do whatever, they will dress like whatever, they'll pick up the language of whatever to try and fit in. The Rainbow Gathering is not immune to that. So there, what you had is all these like people that were trying on the hippie costume, but really they were just there to get drugs.
Mm,
And so they would get high, they would, the best high they probably ever had, right? And that was in Camp A. Camp A was the first part that you stopped in the Rainbow Gathering. But if you kept walking through the trail a little bit farther, just a little bit farther, you get to Camp B. And that's where you had your real hippies. Camp A was business hippies. Camp B was actual hippies where they're baking bread in the ground, and they're like foraging for food and they're
right, right.
raising their own chickens. And like they've been doing this for like 20, they live in a camper all year
So
round
camp
and
A
they
is more
homeschool
like
their kids.
LARPing. It's kind of like just a superficial pretending,
Yeah.
or yeah.
Well, the thing is like, I'm a punk rock girl. I grew up in the punk rock community, like booking and managing punk rock bands. Never liked hippies. Not a fan. I'm like, get your patchouli stank out of my way. Like, what is wrong with you? No, I don't understand. Everybody's doing acid in these groups. You like, how long? I went to go see the Grateful Dead, and I heard them, they just rehearsed for 4 hours. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, just the business hippies are the worst people,
Mm,
honestly, too. And that they're all in Camp A. Camp B is where you get people like you, people like me, people like Jordan, Sather, people like people that are committed.
mm,
But you can't get to Camp B without going through Camp A. And we lose so many people in Camp A. They never make it out of Camp A. They never make it to Camp B. And
mm.
the Camp A subjects are flat Earth. I just hit my microphone. That's how much I hate flat Earth.
God damn it.
It's flat Earth. Stop shaking. It's flat. See, even my microphone is scared now. It's flat Earth. It's the basic stuff that's been coming out about COVID over the last couple of years.
Mm,
It's people that are mad about the mandates. It's people that want to talk about Joe Biden falling up flights of stairs. I fall up flights of stairs like at least once a day. I fall like a president. There's nothing to that, I promise. They want to talk about Candace Owens being mad.
mm.
They get stuck. They get stuck. And the
AOC,
flat earth
whoever it
guys are the
is. Yeah.
not because they're right or because they're wrong. It's just that whether the earth is flat or if it's round, it's not going to fix inflation or untrafficked children.
Hmm. Exactly.
And
Big
then
old
especially love
distraction.
that because they want to fix something and they know there's nothing to be done. The people that are obsessed with flat earth are desperately trying not to become black pilled. That's what that is. They
Mm,
feel like they got to grab onto that. It's really dark. Everyone gets black pilled though. It's
yeah.
part of what we do. You're gonna be excited like a newborn Christian. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like have you heard the news? Have you heard the good news?
I'm gonna go and tell
There's
everybody.
lizard people running the world. Now
Yeah, no,
you're turning the frogs gay,
oh, I
definitely.
mean, yeah, be careful what you're drinking. The water can be kind of funky there, but no,
Oh, 100%.
I think you're
But
spot on
people
though.
get
Like a lot
stuck
of
there.
people get stuck in the
Mhm.
black pill. It's like it's just like 6 o'clock on the timeline. You got to make it all the way back around to noon,
Mhm.
and that's the question really is like once
They
people are
never make
caught
it
in that
past
thirst
flat
trap,
Earth.
yeah, like how do
They
they get
want to
out of
sit
it?
in spaces and they want to sit in, in Clubhouse and they want to fist fight everyone and be
Yeah,
like, the Earth is flat, fight me. Well, what about them lying about everything in history? Can we
yeah.
talk about Ben Franklin having like 9 bodies in his basement?
Oh yeah,
Can we
his
talk about the
basement was
Hellfire Club?
full of
Can we talk
skeletons. Yeah.
about any of that other stuff? Because if you just put the flat Earth down for a second, like let's just put it down, walk away for a minute,
Hmm.
you're gonna see all this other stuff, and I think that's intentional as well.
Yeah.
It's really hard to break our programming, and flat Earth really appeals to people that have a hard time breaking their programming. I've noticed
Mm.
that's part of it. Because if the Earth is flat, think about that. If it really is flat, if they're right, and the
Mm.
Earth is flat, and they've been lying to us this whole time, that's pretty scary, right? So they would rather argue over it than move past it because they themselves kind of don't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I could play
I think we're
devil's
living on a donut
advocate
Earth.
in a way, like, okay, so let's give the flat earthers, the benefit of the doubt. Like, all right, they're lying about that. Then what the hell has NASA been doing this entire time? That is something, I guess it's a genuinely concerning topic, right? It's like this very, very well-funded federal agency. I think
They're
it's like,
laundering money.
yeah, right, right. It's not a space
I'm serious.
agency.
They talk about going to space. I'm like, you mean near Earth orbit,
Yeah.
right? When they say space, that is not space. Just because Jeff Bezos sold enough there's a dick on every single Amazon box. Just because he sold enough boxes with dicks on them to build himself a dick rocket so he could
Mhm.
wear a cowboy hat like a dick doesn't mean he went to space. I'm just saying. He went to near Earth orbit.
Yeah,
He spent all
William
of his dick
Shatner.
money getting to near Earth orbit. And you want to see something really creepy? Go look up the Westinghouse tower that Tesla built. Totally a dick.
Mm. Oh man,
And
there's
it
a
looks
lot of
like
patterns
Bezos'
there.
rocket.
Yes,
It looks like
there's
Bezos' rocket.
always some phallic energy in these public-facing events for sure.
The obelisks,
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Someone was
the
joking,
Washington Monument.
right? Yeah, that's Osiris's dingling. That's what someone was joking about the other night. Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
They stole those. All those like major obelisks,
yeah.
those were stolen.
Well, this is a perfect segue, Missy. Okay, so I brought up Tartaria. We didn't really talk about it, but there's part of this narrative that the obelisks and things like that were already here. This was like an ancient monument that was in the U.S. before we even got here. Some people say it was brought over. It was
It was brought over from
it,
Egypt. Those people
yeah.
are not reading.
So then what happens though? People hear about this mud flood, this Tartarian timeline, and they get lost in it. How does that happen? What do you
It is the
suggest
biggest
for
game of
people?
telephone, and our people are the worst at playing this game. By the way,
Right,
like
right.
even when it comes to like extra, like TMZ repeating like theories about celebrities, they
Hmm.
get it righter. They get it more right than we do.
Yeah.
If you're not doing your own research, you should be,
Mm.
because when you regurgitate what other people are saying because you heard it on a podcast and you just went with it, then you're leaving the door open to have all these arguments about, well, maybe there's a side up, they're a shill. They've got 400 followers on Twitter. Clearly, they're in the government. I'm like, dude, if you did your own research, you wouldn't have to trust them.
Yeah, it's the same thing if people are watching Fox or CNN and then they just
Mhm.
listen and they take it
It's
in,
all
they
the same
don't.
company.
It's yeah, exactly,
Do you know who owns
exactly.
Fox News? Disney.
Mm.
Congratulations, you've completed a circle.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure most Disney fans aren't even aware that it's like they're
They've run off all their fans. The Disney people are pissed.
mm,
You know it's bad when the Disney people start a YouTube channel just to trash Disney.
yeah. Oh
They're
yeah.
pissed. They're all mad. They've run over their own demographic.
Yeah, it's like the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail right there. I'm
Yeah, oh,
curious too. There's
I love that story.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's something fascinating about Disney. Now that you brought it up, I mean, the the areas that Disneyland and Disney World were built upon, I've heard
Mhm.
that these areas are right on ley lines. There's like
The
very
underground
magical.
tunnels.
Say it again.
The underground tunnels.
Oh, the underground tunnels, especially
You
too.
know, just like
Yes.
Pizzagate tunnels, just like the ones that Elon Musk was going to, just like the Paris catacombs, just like Chicago, which was raised up where they would keep all the moonshining stuff with Al Capone.
Hmm.
Totally had syphilis. That's where they would keep the moonshine. San Francisco has creepy tunnels. Las Vegas has really creepy
Oh
tunnels.
yeah.
Oprah's house got police blocked so they could go search the creepy tunnels in her Boca Raton home.
Yikes.
Epstein's Island had creepy tunnels.
Oh yeah.
Are we seeing like, are we starting to see like, okay, what? How? There are no coincidences. Or you're telling me the entire underneath us is just catacombs everywhere, but we can't find them or see them?
Do you think Jelaine will be safe?
It's Ghislaine and she has
Ghislaine.
a submarine license. She'll be fine.
Yeah. Speaking of tunnels, she'll be fucking underwater somewhere else. Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. Okay, so with all that being said, I think one of the thirst traps, which is hard to tell if it's like camp A is thinking a certain way, camp B has a totally different view. I'm kind of lost in the
It
sauce
Camp B
here.
doesn't have a totally different view. Camp B is done with all the stuff we discussed in Camp A. They research something, they find out as much as they can. They go, there's no way I can get to the bottom of all of this.
Yes.
And they move on to the next subject.
So let's
And they leave
let's
it behind.
use
They leave Camp A
yes.
behind them
I
and move
see.
on to Camp B and all the other stuff.
That's the process, right? So they put the research down and they move on with their
Yeah.
damn lives. So like
Yeah.
let's use the UFO UAP disclosure phenomenon because I think right now, as we speak, just like I said earlier, it's February 3rd, 2023, and for the last couple of days, there's been a I don't know what to call it, a Chinese balloon, a climate station, surveillance
That sounds
object.
racist.
This comes from Wuhan, China. I'm assuming. No, I'm just kidding. But
It doesn't even look like a Chinese balloon. It looks like just a giant white balloon. If I didn't know any better, I would have assumed it was stuffed full of drugs.
yeah, right. You said it was like full of fentanyl.
Fentanyl, yeah,
Yeah,
totally. And we'll
yeah,
get into that in just a second, all the bullshit around fentanyl.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I recently, so I last time I spoke to you, I
I
was
have to
telling
take a
you
break. My
how.
dog is flipping out. Can you give me 2 seconds?
Yeah, of
Cut.
course, of course.
I'll
Yeah,
be two
cut.
seconds.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's funny you say that.
Thank you for letting me do that real quick. My dog was like having, because I went down there and I went and checked the door. He
Mm.
shut up after that.
Oh, it's good.
But
Yes.
until I checked the door, he's like, Mommy, Mommy,
Yeah,
Mommy,
yeah.
someone
Dogs
rang
are
the
funny like
doorbell.
that.
The devil's outside.
Yeah, the devil's outside. Yeah, exactly. Get him out.
He'll fist fight the vacuum. I'll go cut the vacuum off, and he's like, "Look what I just did! I told you I'd chase it away." I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, "God,
Yeah.
Chihuahuas."
Oh yeah, yeah. Yoshi. Yeah. So you had just got into, I mean, you were joking
Okay, game
about,
on.
yeah. You were just kind of joking about the
And I sent you the Mike
fentanyl.
a Dank song too, by the way. It's
I saw that in your text. Yeah. I'm gonna look into that.
It's 30 seconds. So
Perfect. Yeah. You were just, well, we were just getting into this Chinese balloon, and as of now, I'm pretty
is it
sure.
Chinese or is it Tartarian? Because there's questions.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Is it like a time traveling balloon? Like, what the hell's going on with this? But apparently, so when I woke up this morning, it was somewhere in Kansas, and now it's like traveling eastbound towards Missouri. It's somewhere outside of St. Louis, I think. And I wonder if it's gonna like hit Nashville next. Like it's on this strange path. But what do you think about all this? Because this has been it's hard to wrap our minds around something that's happening in the moment. Like when we have retrospect, this will be totally different. So I'm looking forward to that. But for now, it's still up
I know
there.
that my UFO friends have been incorrigible since that thing appeared. I can't even talk to them right now because they're like, "Oh my God, oh my God." I'm like, "Well, it's a freaking balloon."
It's a balloon, as
I
far
don't
as I
know
know.
how in Montana nobody shot it down already, right?
Yeah, I mean, jeez, it's gotten a
It's a
lot of liberty
balloon.
here. Yeah.
But they're like, it's here. They're oh my God, they're here. They're here. Yo, there was a room in Twitter space. They're here. I'm like, that's a balloon.
Mm.
I would hate to see you at a birthday party.
Oh God, yeah, you would totally ruin it. And it's only been here for a couple days now, and as far as we know, yeah, just a balloon. It's got some kind of payload, and they say it's like the size of two school buses. I don't know what it's carrying. There's different
You
stories
know what it
going around.
reminds me of?
What's
The
that?
99 love, love balloons and the
Yeah,
nuclear
yeah. I
war.
put that song in my Telegram group today. I was vibing out to
Hmm.
that for sure.
If you listen to the lyrics, it's talking about how World War III started because
Mhm.
they mistook a balloon
Yes.
for a nuclear missile. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's predictive programming, or do you think it's them negating guilt when we don't do anything about it?
It's a little bit of both, I guess. I mean,
I think
in
it's their religion. They think that if they tell us, then they don't have to be accountable. They
yeah,
told us we didn't do anything about it. That's on us.
I love thinking about this because when you have the revelation of the method, there's a lot being revealed to us, but it's not always direct. This was a song that, it's been covered multiple times. I posted the Goldfinger version, but
Mm.
there's an even older
Do
version.
you think
And
Tom DeLonge is having a worse day than those people in the UFO room that found out there wasn't a UFO last night?
oh no, yeah. I mean, like for anyone who's seeing this with their own eyes, I mean, that's got to be quite an experience. But everyone else on Twitter, just looking at pictures, they're like freaking out. And there's so many different ways you could spin it. I'm just
It's
curious
a
though.
balloon.
It's a balloon.
It's a balloon.
So which
Everybody
makes
calm
more
down.
sense to you, Missy? Like, do you feel like it's more of like a surveillance? It's like because some people would be saying, why would they send a balloon when everyone's got TikTok and
Well,
shit
there's the
like that?
song.
Yeah.
There's the song that tells you about the nuclear thing. Then there's the whole concept of like balloons being the oldest form of travel.
Mm,
I sent you the video about the
the Zeppelin.
the Hindenburg. Remember
Mm,
that? Yeah, I sent
yeah.
that to you, and I thought that was extremely interesting. Then there's the whole concept of, I mean, for the longest time, all these science fiction books, what they focused on, there was no planes. It was the balloons
Mm.
that they would use to travel. So I think that's interesting. That's another point. Plus, there's the fact that that AOC picture came out where you can see right through her funeral dress, and it looks like two balloons. I'm just saying, like, there are no coincidences. The balloon thing matters, though. Uh, we've known for a while they're probably going to pull some Project Bluebeam bullshit so they can take the internet away from us and lock us in
Exactly.
our homes, right?
Yes.
I was like, well, here we go. Here we go. Because when you look at what happened with Roswell, what did they say it was? A weather balloon.
Weather balloon. Right, right. Okay. So going right back to Roswell there. It's
I hate
interesting
to tell the
too.
Chinese this. I know they make crappy stuff, but the balloon's supposed to be up there, not down here.
Yeah, this doesn't belong
I
down
think you
there.
might have messed that one up, Xi Jinping.
Yeah. Yeah, I think some of my astrology friends, I throw myself in this bunch because I love learning about it, talking about it. And because we're in the season of Aquarius now, it's very airy and we have this aerial phenomenon happening.
I don't
I
know what
think
any of that stuff means.
at,
No
at
idea.
this point, though, we could agree that this is like an unidentified aerial phenomenon, just like that.
That is a UFO. That is an unidentified flying object. That is
Yes,
exactly what it is. So
exactly.
that is when you say that's a UFO, you are correct.
Right.
Doesn't mean there's aliens
Yeah,
coming out of
right.
it,
We
but there
can't
might.
jump to
Who knows
aliens.
what's inside that balloon? I hope it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
fentanyl because it
Yeah.
kills every cop that touches it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
All
think
right.
about that for a second. Like fentanyl kills every place. They got to wear hazmat suits, right? Like they're going into a meth lab, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's all the deaths in the supply chain? The guys are unloading the containers. There's no like, there's not a line of like longshoremen leading to the container that has the fentanyl in it. There's not a line of people like what are they doing running through the desert like with the egg, like in that game you used to play as a kid where you
Yeah,
pass it
right,
with
right.
the spoon. Well, there goes Jorge. He's out next. Come on, Julio. You got four
Yeah.
blocks to run. Like seriously, there should be a trail of bodies. If
Mm.
it's as toxic as they're telling us it is, there should be a trail of bodies. But for some reason, the only people that ever die from fentanyl poisoning are police officers, maybe even in their hazmat suits,
Mm.
and people's rich kids at these festivals. Well, I smoked some weed and never thought I was going to need Narcan, man. That's what
Yeah,
we say.
you're gonna
It's
find
never
this
like,
interesting too,
it's never,
because
it's not Mexican nationals. It's not Ecuadorians that are living in 14 in a trailer, like in North, whatever. Here it's North Charleston, it's something, West, whatever. The part of the city that's not the city. You don't see that.
Mm,
They're not dying in mass. Like there's not a trailer full of dead people that didn't make it to Home Depot the next day. That
mm.
didn't happen. So I'm asking like the question like, is fentanyl as dangerous and deadly as they say it is, or is it a weapon they're using?
Yeah, and you're gonna find this interesting because on that same topic, I'm
Oh,
still
people are
working
fighting
in
over that
public
one.
school. Now I'm here in the suburbs of Dallas, and basically for the last couple of weeks, we've had this special, I think it's like a nonprofit or some kind of organization come in to speak to kids about fentanyl. And they pull up this very well done, like mainstream news source where this young girl, this volleyball star, was killed because she smoked, and I quote, a marijuana cigarette that was laced with fentanyl. And and so like there's
It's like
clearly,
this Sublime song.
yeah,
What
there were
is
two
it? She was smoking a
individuals.
marijuana
Yeah,
cigarette.
one of them was a male, the other two were
Reefers.
female. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they did this to me when I was in school, but it was through the DARE program. I don't know if like
Oh, my
Texas.
mother still has my DARE certificate on her refrigerator.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
put it up the day that I took a little too much acid. Had to go take a trippy trip to the hospital when I was like 18, and she put my DARE diploma on the refrigerator, and it's
Mm,
lived there since I was 18 years old. I'm 40 now.
constant
She thinks it's
reminder.
hilarious.
Yeah.
She's like, I guess these programs work.
Oh God, yeah. I dared to resist.
I
Um,
dared Nancy Reagan to actually completely stand up straight because she couldn't do it.
just say no. Just say no.
Just say no to drugs.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been
Betty
interesting.
Ford,
It's
she was my favorite first lady. She definitely didn't say no to anything.
no, yeah. I mean, the first lady knows how to party. That's for sure.
Yeah, the
Well,
fentanyl thing's just kooky. The Mexican cartels right now, what they're doing, the fentanyl is they're actually selling, when they bring the fentanyl over here, they're bringing it in pill form and it's pink. And the reason
mhm.
they're doing that is because it's a terrible business model to kill off your clientele.
Oh God, yeah.
That's a bad business model. So they've spent years getting these people addicted to these like drugs. Like we don't want to screw it up at the last final. Like that's bad. It's
Mm.
bad business. I mean, it's just when you have your clientele dying, you don't have a customer.
Yeah, you
It's
got to
just
think about
common sense.
tobacco. They can have
So the cartels
customers.
are actually being responsible
Yeah.
or trying to be some semblance of responsibility. They're turning the medicine pink. So if you buy cocaine or something, it's pink because they crushed up the pink stuff and mixed it in. So you know.
Mm.
Which I want to say, it's like I think the cartel's growing up a little bit. They're showing some responsible tendencies like an adult. I'm really proud of them.
Wow.
They're selling avocados now.
Yeah, I've
That's their
heard
main
they
cash
helped.
crop.
Yeah, they've made avocados cheaper, so I won't complain. Anyone from the cartel is listening, keep it up, I guess.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Thank you guys for your tunnel so we don't have to even see you.
Oh God, yeah. I think it was like El Chapo's son or something like that was
Oh,
recently
that
like
was
in a
creepy, huh?
shootout. Yeah, right.
No, it wasn't just a shootout. The cartel took out the Mexican military, the police, it took out everything. All of the order and the things that should be in place to protect you weren't there anymore. And my question is like, why didn't we do something about that? And my second question is
Well, we were
like,
warned about this. The
well,
Call of Duty campaign was all about this. It was all about the cartel getting infiltrated and then having this like attack on the border towns. I don't know if it was that specific, but I mean, I guess
what do
just
you mean Call of Duty? I've never played. I mean, I have it. We have a PlayStation
yeah,
4.
like
I've not
the
played it yet.
yeah,
I'm still
the
trying to figure out Fortnite, which I'm getting really good
oh
at.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just
You
saying,
need to
it's
friend me
like
on Fortnite so I can kick your ass sometime.
okay, all right, let's do it, Missy. But no, it was like
It's
a
Frantic Missy,
storyline.
so
Frantic Missy. All right, there we go. I'm Loco 5755.
mm,
I don't play Xbox anymore though. I mean, it's been a while. It's doing more
logo
podcasting these days. Plenty
five
of
seven
games you
five
can
five.
play on these streams. But I do want to ask you this because it was a storyline where basically like I think it was Russians. They infiltrated the Mexican cartel. They were able to collaborate and stage a basically an invasion on this border town. I think it was somewhere in Texas, and that was part of the storyline. And then, of course, and I'm probably butchering this because I haven't played this in quite a while, but this was the most recent Call of Duty game. They were basically saying that through the cartel, they were able to smuggle a Russian terrorist across the southern border so that he could stage this attack in Chicago, of all places. Um,
Okay, where
that's
should
all
we
that.
start? Let's start from the beginning. Yes, the Russians are an amazing. If you stub your toe, the Russians did it. If you, I'm serious,
We did
taxes
it.
too high, Russians did it. John McAfee accidentally kills himself on purpose after like they fixed the colonial pipeline from information they probably got out of John McAfee. Russians did it, especially the white Russians. Now we're talking about patriarchal, racist Russians. The white Russians definitely did it.
Not the Big Lebowski here, folks. Yeah.
Seriously, fuck the fucking Eagles, right? We need our little Lebowski achievers to understand that the Russians are to blame for everything. We are nihilists. We believe in nothing, right? It's so tropish. Like, think about this. If that was something that you'd be like, honey, you might need to get some help. Like, there's not a second shooter on the grassy knoll. Like, there's no one, like, the Russians aren't doing this.
It
You need to
becomes
get some help, baby
delusional
doll.
after a certain
You
point.
you
Yeah.
would call them schizophrenic and crazy. If someone in your actual life said as much as the media does that it was Russia's fault.
So, Missy, let me tell you a quick story then, and this is going to turn into a question because I kind of want to hear your response to this. Given, I scrolled through your Twitter to prepare for this conversation, just kind of see what you've been thinking about lately.
I'm sorry ahead of time.
Hey, no, it's all right. You got a lot of good stuff on there. Okay. At one point, I think it was last year, 2021 or 2022. Jesus, right? I was looking at this information about Hunter Biden and how there was connections to bio labs, think about like a laboratory that could be doing gain of function research of any kind in Ukraine, maybe. I'm just speculating.
23 of them, maybe.
Yeah.
Dude, 23, best day to talk about this, Kobe.
God, yeah. And those PCR tests that I did all of 2021 have collected plenty of my DNA. So we'll see where it's
Well,
all
you
sent
know
to.
that China bought, like, I think it was 19, don't quote me on this. Do your own research, folks. You can get mad at me if you want to. Good, if that inspires you to go do research. Hate my guts. But China bought a crap ton. So that's an accurate number. China bought a crap ton of PCR tests to the point where no one else could get them in May of 2019, right before they had the Olympics.
Yeah, oh yes, I do remember seeing that. Yeah, it was
Remember
like
how weird they were about the Olympics that year?
that was very ominous. Yes.
Remember how like they would just be like the Chinese won and no one would say anything? Like the guy, what? No, China didn't win. And like no, they're like, no, China won. They're like, okay, guess China won. Please don't put me in a camp. I might not come out of, you know.
Yikes.
I
Yeah,
see
yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening with the Uyghurs. I'll just shut up.
Oh yeah. Oh man, people don't even talk about that anymore. But
Oh well, of course not, because there's all this other garbage. Again, they're in Camp A and they never make it out,
yeah,
man.
exactly. But here's a perfect example. So I was looking at this information. It was just being put out on Twitter. Like I wasn't going anywhere too obscure. And then I shared it with a friend, and they're like, "Oh, Ukraine biolabs that were sponsored by Hunter Biden or something like that. That's Russian disinformation." And I kind of thought
Well,
about it. I
you know
was
who's
like,
actually sponsoring them? It's Fauci. Let's get our
yeah,
facts straight. Beagle torturing Fauci, who needs a step stool so he can reach the microphone, right?
yeah.
Fauci, that's like AZT drugs. Bye.
Mm.
Right? It's Fauci that said you couldn't have dinner with your own family because AIDS is transmissible to air. Right? The same Fauci that's like, oh no, I know that we quit doing gain of function research testing in America. Well, that's cool. I totally trust these guys.
Some
What?
prime real estate over there. Yeah. BlackRock is also making their entrance in Ukraine as well. And that's
They just bought Ancestry.com, and Ancestry.com is what was used to solve that Cronenberg case. Yeah, like, by the way, there was no warrants issued. No one got permission. The people whose DNA was used to trace this, they didn't get a letter in the mail from the judge saying, like, okay, we need you to show up to court. There's a subpoena. No, they just, now you gave them your stuff, and they do whatever they want with it.
wait,
And
Missy,
what's
which
even
which
creepier,
case are you referring to?
the Cronenberg, the guy that they caught with the four students that he killed from Idaho.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is not the first time that they've done that either. It's extrajudicial. It's not. This is totally wrong. It's a legal search and seizure. They should not be able to just take someone's, like, if I give you, right, something to hold on to for me, you can't just go like, take it, make copies of it, and show it to everybody nudes, probably. You can't do that.
Mm.
It's wrong. What happens with our DNA, though, is that they take our DNA and they put it in databases and they hide it. They hide all the details under 18 pages of, terms and conditions,
Oh yeah.
right? And privacy policies. So unless you read all of them and you understand legalese and you're familiar with Black's Law Dictionary, everyone should buy one. I keep mine next to my Bible and my copy of the Creature from Jekyll Island. Get Black's Dictionary.
That's a
But
great combo
if
right
you're not
there.
familiar with the law,
Mm.
they don't understand what they're signing away. We're seeing this where Joe Rogan brought down all that TikTok stuff and their terms of service and how evil it was and how wrong it is. Dude, the one that's the worst, the one that has the worst terms of service is actually the same organization that they use to try and solve cold case. Put a face, put a name with this body that's in this suitcase. And
Mm.
like then they encourage you, this one source, like I'm not gonna name it because I don't want to get sued, but this one source that is using, they're like, we just help law enforcement. And then you read through all their stuff and like, what if we get bought? So people are giving all of their DNA from all the other sites, from 23andMe, Ancestry.com, anything else they've got testing done. They're freely giving this
Mm.
cold case company. So now they've got a major database that has everything in it. It's horrifying. And this is our DNA. And we know they're making chimeras. Why are they growing ears on the back of mice when we know they've got 3D printers and that technology is right down the pike. It's coming. It's less than 10 years away. So why are they growing ears on the
Mm.
back of mice? Why are they doing that? What's up with that? Do you think they really don't want to stop all the trafficking of organs from children? Maybe that's the thing. But it just doesn't make any sense. The 3D printing of organs is less than 10 years away.
Yeah.
So why are they doing all this chimera research?
Mm. There has been a couple pop culture references. Like some people might think of South Park because they're growing their
Kitty walk?
teacher. Yeah, shitty chicken. Yeah,
The
no,
part
they're
with the hands and the feet. See them in square.
no, they're growing genitals on the back of these mice. And then the other thing is with the James Bond movie, because we were chatting about James Bond earlier before we hit record, and
Just a little slap.
yeah. Well,
Indiana was their dog's name.
there's this new Bond movie. It's like they can take someone's DNA because everything's sequenced and database, just like you said. So like, we're in some storage
Those
facility
people can't
somewhere.
create.
Yeah, so they would create like a personalized weapon. So like you can spray something out into the air and we both breathe it
Like
in.
like Bill Gates?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then he's the same guy who was like, we can put vaccines in the food supply, right? That was his idea. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of truth in these sci-fi tales, and if you really do your research, like Missy here, then you'll start to connect dots like that. And
Well, here's the thing. The fear. Okay, look, the most powerful weapon that these people have against us is fear.
yes,
The living room's a psyop. Basically, the concept of the living room came out in 1910 in Life magazine, and the intention of it was like, oh, you got a tired old parlor. What's parlor mean? Talk. You got to
mm,
stop laying out your dead at home. The new way to do this is you get a funeral director, and they bury your loved ones on their land, and they handle all the death stuff for you. And now you can take back your house. Now you have a living room. So now
interesting.
we're removed from the process of death to the point where people are terrified of it. Everyone's terrified to die. And I'm like, I hate to say this, guys, but 100% death rate in America. We're
Yeah,
all
no
going
one's
to
gonna
die.
avoid
Get
that. Yeah,
real comfortable with what you're doing here because you're going to answer to, if you just have to answer to a whole, still make the most you can of the time you have here,
make the
right?
most of it. Yeah.
And the fear of death is because we got removed from it. We're not familiar with death. It
Hmm.
used to be half your kids would die. Now you talk about like some girl on the internet 5 days ago, slit her wrist because Yanni made her or something. I don't know. And like now people are crying about it that do not know this girl, right? Because we're so far removed from death, it's become become a fear tactic. So yes, all this stuff is intended to control you. The living room is intended to control you.
Mm.
Our lighting, everything that we think is how people have lived. When you think about it, no, people got out in the middle of the night. People are like, I've got insomnia. I need medication. I hope I don't have one of those Roseanne tweet sessions. That's going to be ugly, right? Maybe I shouldn't take Ambien, but I have to because I need to sleep. When in reality, for 100,000 years before Ambien, before the light bulb was invented, people had different sleep schedules.
Oh
But
yeah.
we're not told that. So we think there's something wrong with us, right? Or we think we're sick.
I have a
And then we go
question
to
on
the doctor
that.
to fix us. And they don't.
Because you're a mother and your children go to school, right? And
Just
I'm
one
always curious. Your child goes to school. I'm always curious, like
private school.
when, yeah, like when and how did it become so normalized to feed kids amphetamines so that they could be, good performers? It's the
Well,
same idea, right?
they did that to me when I don't know if you guys can tell or not. Everyone's like, you talk so fast. I'm like, that's because I'm not medicated. If I took medicine, I would just be sitting there quietly going, I've been taking notes. I've been taking notes for 6 hours straight. I'm sorry, what time is it?
Right,
Who are
right.
you? I don't want to talk to people.
I
I got too
like
much to
this
do over
this
here.
version of you much,
Totally
much
don't say
better.
a word.
Yeah.
If I drink coffee, I get quiet
Hmm.
because I'm actually legitimately an actual ADD person. So many people are using that medication and getting it to sell and do all kinds of gross stuff with it. I'm legit
I
ADHD.
love it.
This is what it looks like, folks. And the only reason I even stay like functional is because I got a freaking crazy system where I keep index notes of everything so I can keep track of all my knowledge. Because I had to. I don't want to take drugs. I don't. Our brains, like people that take, they gave it to me at 8.
Mm,
Sorry, Ritalin and then Adderall when I was 8 years old. No one asked me. They were
mm.
like, "Well, she talks too much in class. Well, she's distractionary.
So
She's
messed up.
really smart, but if she took this medication, think about what she could do then,
Yeah, yeah.
right?" So at 8 years old, I was taking Ritalin and then later on Adderall. As a child, I was always a small person. I'm still small. I'm only 5'1" and some change. I
Mm,
cannot change my own light bulbs. But they were giving me like adult sized medicine. And because my parents were told like, what, you want to put her in a special school? I'm
mm.
not I'm not special school material. There's nothing wrong with me. They lied to my parents about how bad it is because I couldn't fit into the Rockefeller education system, sit here. I control your bladder. You have to raise your hand to even do something that's
Oh
natural,
yeah,
like
I
go to the
hate that.
bathroom.
Yeah.
I can see you. We can see the bathroom. I'm teaching, the teacher can see it across the hall, but you have to raise your hand and get a special pass, and they can tell you no. That's
Mm.
messed up, right?
It is messed up. Yeah, I mean, if
And
anyone
I
knows
couldn't fit
me,
into that because
yeah.
I would think about it, I'm like, that's really crazy. I'm like, you can see me. How about I just get up and go to the bathroom when I need to? And when I leave the door, you can see me so you'll know I'm coming right back to my desk.
Hmm.
And they're like, no, there's order to things. And I'm like, okay, whose order?
Yeah, I don't like feeling like a prison guard as a teacher. Like, I'm trying to get out of this teaching business and because
Let me
it,
ask you a
it does
question.
resemble this concentration camp a lot.
Let me ask you a serious question.
Mm.
When Pavlov did his experiment on dogs and bells, do you think he ever intended it to be, I don't know, what we used to wake up in the morning? We got an email, the dishwasher needs to be unloaded, the washing machine's done. There's someone at the door. It's your mom texting you. Like, no, the car, you don't have your seatbelt on. Ding, ding, ding. And we're like, Bell, Baal, like, what is going on? Our lives are run by these things, right? And then they tell us it's the experiment they did on dogs. And I'm like, no, they're doing it on us every single day. When you get to the bank, there's no sign that says, please stand in line. No, people just do it.
Hmm.
People don't, like, there's no sign at Walmart. You got to stand in line. People just do it, right?
Right.
We're trained
Mm.
to ask to go to we're not even allowed to control our own bladders as children. And the worst is the curse word thing, because the first time that you learn censorship is when you're told not to curse. But what do those words actually do? They're not actual curse words. It's not like you're yelling at someone going, you're just like your father, you're going to amount to nothing. That's a curse word,
That's a
right?
curse right
Oh,
there.
you're so
Yeah.
stupid, you're never going to be able to learn. That's a curse word. But
Mm.
pho is a delicious Vietnamese soup. But if I put a call in the end, I would cross lines.
Yes.
The first time
Yes.
we've learned to censor ourselves over these words.
Mm.
So I hate people that take them off the table as well. We train kids to do what we want the kids to do. And all of this is in a pattern with a group of people that have been doing this for a very long time. And it's intentional. So if your child is exceptional, I would say I'm exceptional. I'm not bragging on myself. There's something that I can't do. There's a lot of things I can't do. Can't walk up the stairs like a normal person. Bust my ass all the time. My mom calls me the boo boo queen, right? I could not file like my papers are everywhere. My house is kind of messy, but I can remember all this crazy stuff. I have a superpower, right?
Yeah.
But they dumbed me down and blocked that out so I could fit into their like box of what they think people should be doing. And at the end of the day, like all of my friends that went off to college now owe massive amounts of debts, by the way. I'm 40.
Mm.
My friends that are my age all still have debt from college. Everyone
Such a
had to
scam.
defer at some point. And that's till you die because they made it to where you can't ever get rid of it. I don't have any debt.
That
I
goes back
never went to
to
college.
paying off your mortgage because more, that's like a
Mortgage, death contract.
exactly. Yep. Death contract. You got it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
All these people are like in debt. They don't, but we're trained where you're supposed to get a credit card. Now they don't teach you how to file for a small business loan. They
Mm.
want you to be the person that signs the back of the check rather than the front of the check. They love it when you do that. They especially love it when you're poor and you have to buy food that's going to poison you slowly.
Mm.
And you have to now every person that's poor, they know where they live, they know how much money they have a month, they know what they're eating because of food stamps, they know where their phone is, they can track them at all times. It is an excellent way to maintain a crowd study that people that you don't trust or like or care for. They really like nailed it down and they think they're being helped.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of like this open air kind of prison system. And as a kind of a segue, because this is a local story, I'm here in Dallas. There's been a bunch of, speaking of an open air prison, a zoo. The Dallas Zoo has had a lot of shenanigans lately. I think there's been
We I
a
was in a space for 2 days
yeah,
talking about the monkeys that fell at the back of the van. I kid you not. And then this story comes up. I'm like, whoa,
it's been a lot of
what's
stuff.
up with that?
There's been monkeys, spotted leopard. There's been a bunch of animals stolen, right? Like some have escaped, quote unquote, escaped. Uh,
Allegedly.
allegedly, yes. And it's
I
very
blame the
confusing.
Russians.
I have a lot of questions. Yeah, like
The Russians totally did it, guys. They do it
Putin
all.
did it.
They
Yeah.
literally they've got helicopters in the sky. That balloon, like that was planted. The Russians did it. They're out to get us. You can't trust anybody named Putin, and it's the worst fart joke ever. The Russians did it. Those
You heard
Ruskies.
it here first. I don't know, Missy. I mean, it seems like if people were gonna steal animals from the zoo, they would have to have a pretty good reason, because that's like breaking someone at a prison. Like, there's gonna be
They're
consequences.
not they're not stealing animals from the zoo. They're creating a diversion so they can do
Mm.
something else nearby what
Oh,
no one's
okay.
looking at. They
There
will
we go.
dangle children over the border, right? Because a couple blocks that way, they're transferring drugs or organs in like children's organs in like freaking coolers, or they have women they're getting over the border, or there's anything, missiles, who
Mhm.
knows? They will dangle children over the border and everyone goes to that spot and then what goes on over there, no one sees because
Mm.
everyone's busy over here handling this. It happens
Yes.
all the time. Whatever's going on with those animals, there's something else that they don't want you to see. They want you to look here, not there. It's sleight of hand.
Yeah, it's a really good reminder to have this peripheral awareness. Look at what's adjacent to whatever problem is the current thing. And there's a lot of cases like that. I mean, even now, like people might be looking up at this balloon, but what's happening down here on the ground. There's a lot that could be going on that we may not be aware of. And that goes for any issue. Like there's a number of different things I could list off here. I've got a couple things written down. The Dallas Zoo is one thing. There's also like, people literally are eating bugs. This is now happening in
Oh, so you saw
schools.
that in my Twitter as well, right?
Australia, the
I
UK.
almost got in a fist fight with someone this morning. Like I was so mad.
They're feeding the
I don't
kids
rage
bugs,
quit.
Missy.
I rage quit.
Yeah.
Because he was telling me I was lying. I was like, no,
Yeah.
no, here's, and it's coming to England soon.
Hmm.
Here it is. Here's what he's like. No, there's no way. My child, I'm Australian. My child goes to school here, blah, 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 or whatever the fuck it is. Not Christmas Island, whatever it is they say. And he was like flipping out and yelling at me, being like, I'm Australian. I would know. And I'm like, oh, that's even worse because here's the documentation.
Yikes.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry to be the one to inform you. But yes, they're eating bugs. They make them into chips. And I don't know if their kids are doing it out of peer pressure
Mm.
or if they don't know, and how much sugar must they be putting in that so they'll eat them?
I mean, if things
Our
are
children might never know
marketed,
the taste of meat, you know. Our grandchildren might not ever eat
oh,
meat. That's what they would
that's
love. We're not real citizens, though. It's like when you don't put real meat in the dog food,
well, let
right?
me ask you this, right? Okay, so you had mentioned legalese, and we should think about natural law for a second. When was it ever
You mean
acceptable?
aboriginal law?
Yeah, I mean, like, when is the food supply, being put into question, being challenged, being
Oh, you mean all the chicken plants that get hit, being hit by trains, or what is it, planes, and oh God, burning down
yeah,
randomly?
they're just being
How
set on
many
fire. There was one in Connecticut recently, like a big chicken plant. Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
If it's just one that gets hit by a plane, that's crazy.
Mm.
And maybe another one burns down, that's crazy. Two chicken plants got hit by planes. What are the odds?
Yeah,
Like
like
I want to ask a statistician or a mathematician to be like, okay, we need to crunch some numbers here because this is crazy. What are the
mhm.
chances of this happening? Right?
Yeah, I mean, when do
It can't be
planes
a
hit
coincidence.
buildings and how often are they
I know,
chicken
right?
plants? Yeah. And like this is part of the can't pay, can't be thing, right? Like, all right,
Yep.
obviously the food supply chain is under attack. And can't be though. We got people
They're
homesteading.
rationing eggs in England.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely happening. I mean, they're rationing nearly everything. Like,
I think I'm gonna get some chicken soon.
there you go. Yeah, I kind of want to ask you because like
Yeah.
you're in a pretty cool area for
I've
that.
got a
Like,
tiny little backyard, but it's not like three chickens isn't gonna like be
yeah,
a
you don't need
problem. And
very
I
much
got
space.
I got a
Yeah.
retarded little dog that will chase off anything. So
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of
yeah.
this, speaking of Charlotte, let's hear about because you have brought up a lot of stuff to me earlier today that I did not know about. People know I'm fairly young. I graduated high school in 2013, and I guess in 2013 there was a lot of shenanigans going down in your backyard, Missy. You want to tell us about this?
I mean, all I have to do is blink, and there's another shenanigan. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
You get rabbit hole exhaustion. I keep telling people, I'm like, look, I get it. Everyone, people get black pilled, and it's not because they really do think like the evil's winning. It's because they're just worn
Yeah,
out.
you get
They're
burnout
just
from it.
tired of like, yeah, because they're like, everywhere I turn, it's another messed up thing. Like, oh my God, is there ever an end to it?
Hmm.
No, there's never an end to it. You have to be responsible with your digging.
Yes.
It's like having a chair in your house that you can walk past anytime you want to. But if you choose to sit in it, you can when you want. You have to control that. You have
Hmm.
to be able to say no to rabbit holes sometimes.
Yes.
But
Got to
all
take a
that stuff
break.
being said, like that when you go to start looking up this crazy balloon thing, and I'm like, well, what is it? Could it be, a nuclear device attached to it? Everyone was freaking out the first like couple of hours.
They're using the word
That's why I'm
payload.
tired right now. I'm losing my voice because I was up most of last night, like looking up what the hell that thing is
Hmm.
and what it might mean because it's scary. It could be anything. We don't know. And remember when that missile happened in Hawaii
The
and
missile
everyone freaked
scare.
out? Even Jim
Yes.
Carrey was like talking about how he just sat down on the beach like, this is it.
Yeah, and I
And then they
mean,
were like, false alarm, there's nothing that
Japan
happened
and
ever. It's fine.
South Korea
You
too.
saw nothing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that happened here in Charleston, South Carolina in 2013. I know because I was here. And when I was trying to find the articles to send to you, because if people are like the balloons coming your way, I'm like, not this again. 2023, 2013, almost right around the same time of year. I'm like, this is freaking out.
So
This freaking
Missy,
me out.
back in 2013, did you get some kind of like alert on your phone that there was a
Yes.
potential?
Well, we,
Yes.
we didn't have the alerts on our phone. What we have is the beep, beep, beep on the radio and on the television.
Okay.
And they were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying an emergency. They didn't tell you what the emergency situation was. It wasn't until the next morning that everyone, because all the cops were everywhere. It was weird. Like you
Mm.
could hear fire trucks and stuff. We didn't know what they were doing, right? Because they did not tell, we didn't have that in place like we do now. Trump did that, by the way, because he knew that these lizard people were going to do something crazy in a minute. And we all need to have that. If they
Yeah,
can take
I
away
remember that.
Twitter,
Yeah.
we need to have it on our phone, right? So back in 2013, though, we didn't find out till the next morning
Mm.
on the cover of the Post and Courier newspaper, which is our local paper, there was a nuclear missile shot down 1,000 kilometers off the coast of Charleston, South Carolina. We have the nuke school here, y'all.
Mm.
So all those submarine guys, they come through here first, except for Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know how she learned.
Oh
I,
God,
I'm
yeah.
I'm
Her
terrified. They got planes
she
now. They
probably
got
learned from the
submarines.
Fourth Reich
The uber
if
rich have
anything.
submarines now.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I mean, talk about Nazis.
Oh yeah.
That worries me. But we've got the nuke school here, and it's invaluable. And we have for the longest time the Navy Yard here.
Mm,
I don't know why Charleston is so strategic. Again, we have all that Masonic stuff. We have all that corn ceremony, cornerstone building
mm.
stuff. We have, I mean, seriously, we have Robert Mills that built the Washington Monument, talking about obelisk. We talked about that right
We
already
did,
before
we
we came on
did,
the
yeah.
air. The obelisk that is the Washington Monument. Robert Mills designed that. The school that my kid goes to, the church is designed by Robert Mills.
Hmm.
It's everywhere here. Like the Illuminati stuff is everywhere here. And then you start looking at the history and you're like, how many fires? What, an earthquake? We
Oh
had an
yeah.
earthquake? How many hurricanes? What? And you look at the history and the town's just been wiped out. To quote a friend of mine who was working on the sewers here for like 2 years while they did this project, he goes, everything underneath your feet downtown, it's all skeletons and trash. You're walking on skeletons and you're walking on trash because all that used to be marsh and all that used to be water.
Mm,
Yeah. So
that's
I
pretty
don't know what it
wild.
is about Charleston, but there's something about this place being special. And we also got a nuke that was sent towards us and they scrubbed it. They scrubbed
Hmm.
it from the internet. Snopes, trustworthy. What was it? He banged his girlfriend and his wife got him. What was the Snopes thing? Remember that? Fact check true. Um, Snopes came after that and said it wasn't what it was and used the language the way they do. But you can go look at the microfilm. That's on the cover of the Post and Courier. Near miss with nuclear missile. And then they lost another one back in the 60s, right around here. And then they lost another one back in the 70s, right around here. And you're like,
Hmm.
what's going on?
Yeah,
Where are
there's
these nukes
something up
going?
with Charleston.
And
Yeah.
yes. And what happened to that nuclear missile that they said was going to hit Hawaii? The one that was supposed to hit us. Do you know who was talking about it at the time? And like being like, they're gonna get us. North Korea's gonna like bomb us. Iran's gonna bomb us. You know who was talking about it at the time? Lindsey Graham,
Mm-hmm.
who's from here. And then a month later, we get a false flag nuclear missile shot down 1,000 kilometers. Brits, you guys gotta like translate that for me. It's America. I don't know what those terms are, but
What's a
whatever
kilometer?
that
Yeah.
is, kilometers
Yeah.
shot out the sky from Charleston. Now, did they retain the shell of that? No one said anything about
Hmm.
it. It's just really weird
I have a question
how
for you
it was
then.
Lindsey Graham and then that happened.
Yeah, these events, you can think about this Charleston missile, Hawaii, even
We
this
started the Civil War here too.
balloon.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, oh, there's a ton
And
of
don't forget
history.
that all like I think it's like 80% of Black people that came to America came through here.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's like
Yes.
the Ellis Island. Yeah, very, very dark. So,
Well, it's very ritualistic, isn't it?
yes, absolutely. But I want to ask you, you probably heard of like Event 201 and how there's like
Yes.
simulated events that are kind of meant to like gauge how the public is going to react to certain things. They even stage like the World Economic Forum staged cyber polygons so they could practice and simulate these cyber attacks. And we saw these. I think it was Southwest Airlines, right? They had like a total meltdown, and like this actually happened. And you know, um,
Southwest Airlines actually does that quite often. You just don't hear about it.
right, this
They
one
do
was
that all the time.
sensationalized.
They're the
Yeah,
worst.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to
The only
Spirit
worse than them is
Airlines.
Spirit, followed by Frontier.
Yeah.
Like Southwest is the worst.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay. So all of these events, especially the ones like Event 201, were simulated just like in the same way that they would do drills to practice for what's going to happen if someone hijacks an airplane. How are we going to respond? And it just makes me kind of curious, like with this balloon happening now, or even with these stories in Charleston, like do you feel like that's really part of the repertoire of these like lizard people? They want to simulate things. They want to check and see how people are going to react before like the real thing happens. Is that what's happening?
I think what we have to do is look at the actual people that have reacted, not necessarily in a good way.
Mm.
Let's talk about David Hogg and his furious bike ride to school, and then him filming from inside of a closet after all this happened, right? And his dad, those drills, that's what David Hogg's dad does. in Parkland, right next to Hollywood, California, by the way. Like literally, sorry, Hollywood, Florida.
Mm.
Like literally, you can see it. You can see the airstrip from Parkland, the high school where the 9/11 hijackers supposedly trained, or I don't know, picked up their cocaine. They could see it right
Mm.
from there. So you got to start asking yourself, like, are these drills? Why is it these locations happen to all be in the same place? Why do they all have three names? Hollywood, right? Parkland, Ivy League, Thousand Oaks. Remember that shooting?
Mm. They're all
You
three
got to start
syllables.
asking
Yeah.
these questions.
Yeah.
Like there's something to that where these sacred Druidic plants are, I mean, you can call me crazy, but I really do believe with all my heart that they are performing a spell. And the reason I think that is because when you look at the isolationist opinion that America had all the way up to World War I, right? The thing that changed where America is a cultural like spitfire is because of Hollywood.
Yes.
No one else is able to even repeat it. Even the one that's in India, they call Bollywood, and it's not even close. Like they're walking around just trying to practice their English all day. It's bad. Turn it off, turn it back on, whatever you got to do, right?
Hmm.
But literally, like all the other places they try to film, can't hold a candle to it. What is so special about this quote unquote Hollywood?
Mm.
There's no holly trees there. There's no oaks and oaks,
Right.
right?
Right.
There's no
Yeah.
parkland in Parkland. These people, like, there's something with these plants, and I think the holly tree is pivotal in some sort of like uh putting the veil over things. The Druids worship this plant,
Mm.
okay?
Mm.
And what does the world worship more than anything? Hollywood. And it's
Yes.
not just America, it's the whole world. We were isolationists. Matter of fact, it's going to be really difficult to start a war with America because we got water and cold and desert. We are very separated and very protected, not to mention the gun behind every blade of grass. Like
Mm.
everything is, we're in a very good place here. It's going to be very hard to invade America. We were able to be isolationists. And then Hollywood happened. And all of a sudden now everyone cares what we think. And now we're the center of everything, even though we never asked for it. I
Yeah.
mean, people know, people in North Korea buy DVDs, right? They sell their hair to buy DVDs from Hollywood.
Mm.
They know Hollywood, even in an absolute failed state like North Korea. So, what does that tell you? The power that they had.
Yes.
They're misusing it, obviously. But what people forget is all the ritualistic stuff that led up to them having this control and this power. Let's talk about Charles Manson never actually killing anyone. Let's
Mm.
talk about how that house on Cielo Drive, when they killed a pregnant woman, sounds like a druidic sacrifice to me.
Mm.
They killed a pregnant woman whose husband was Roman Polanski. Sounds like he did some other sacrifice work not allowed in America anymore, right? It was supposed to be Terry, oh my God, my brain just snapped. I want to say Terry Nichols, but I know that's wrong. That's the guy from the freaking Oklahoma bombing. Said, it's Terry Melcher, Doris Day's
Melcher.
son, Terry Melcher, who denied Manson a contract. He lived in that house on Cielo Drive. They went to go kill him. Instead, they got a pregnant woman and her husband that doesn't speak well, also ritual sacrifices, who
Mm.
can't be found with 13-year-old girls, right? A pregnant woman gets killed instead. And by the way, Manson was like 300, 400 miles away. He didn't kill anyone. And yet his name is now synonymous with the most notorious, like he's notoriously a murderer.
Mm.
So to the point where Marilyn Manson names himself after him. But he didn't kill anyone. He didn't kill anyone.
You know,
He
it's
went to the wrong
it's
house.
it's crazy that, you bring up this Holly connection and, this druidic magic. And then in the same way, we had kind of laughed about this earlier that like Disney owns Fox, and the same people who love Disney hate Fox, and that there's this
And it's called
vicious.
Fox, isn't like the Fox watching the hen house.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And then,
It'd be funny if it wasn't so messed up.
right, it's absurdly true in the most like profound ways. But there's also like Medea she's the goddess of illusions, and the media is
Isn't she
being
in prison now, or is it Boo Medea Halloween? Which one are
oh
we up
like
to now?
Medea, like Tyler Perry's. Yeah, okay, I
A
see what you
man
mean.
dressing up as a woman, they would never do that for Baphomet worship. That just sounds kooky, Michelle Obama.
Oh yes.
I was
Oh my.
trying to find the book that I have. I've got a copy of Strange Tales from the Canyon, talking
Okay.
about like, yeah,
Laurel
it's really
Canyon.
cool. I highly recommend that everyone buy that book. It's a great one. The Creature from Jekyll Island,
Hmm.
The Octopus of Global Control by Charlie
Yeah,
Robinson.
shout out Charlie.
Obviously, Micah Dank's books, which we're gonna play a song I wrote about him that is, he should be embarrassed
Yeah, I'm
about, but
looking
it's
forward to
kind of
that.
awesome. So whatever. But that Strange Tales from the Canyon book. The author's dead, by the way.
Hmm.
He died not long after he put that book out. There's a lot of weird stuff there.
Hmm.
Like for example, like Jim Morrison's dad is Admiral Morrison,
Yes.
who started the Gulf of Tonkin incident. And then you got like, Britney Spears and her high-ranking military father. And then you've got like, Jennifer Hudson, like all the sacrifice stuff, like Kanye's mom died. Y'all, I'm telling you, it goes so deep.
Let me ask you this,
And
Missy. Like, Kanye recently tried or
it's yay, not
yay,
they.
you're
Don't say they, he'll
right,
leave.
yay and yum. He was talking
Who is
about
the they? I'm leaving.
right. You say my pronouns correct, or I'm gonna end this right now. Yeah.
You don't want to know what my pronoun is. That will definitely put you on a list, and you guys do not want to be on a list that I'm on.
No, no. But he Ye was talking about these well, not these, but this one individual who was drugging celebrities and getting them to
Bill
become like
Cosby?
yeah, right, right. Oh man. I knew he was gonna come up eventually, but
You know how he's getting them, right? It's not their drinks. He's
Hmm.
putting drugs in the pudding.
It's proofs in the pudding. Yes.
100%.
100%.
That's it. I mean, I think that has to be the thing. That has to be the thing. That guy's
But
creepy as hell. He's back
when
on tour, by the way.
yeah, catch Bill Cosby in 2023, y'all. Just, watch out. Just tread carefully. But, I just wanted to ask you,
Avoid
like,
all the local hotels because he's probably in one
yeah,
of
you want to
them,
go straight
and you're
home after
sleeping.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't want to stick around. But when we see Britney making these obscure Instagram posts or you
Those aren't
have
obscure
yay, yeah, I mean there's like if you can read between the lines and
headlines.
kind of
Yeah.
consider like what she's been through, like is she revealing to us anything that we didn't already know, or is this kind of just like something you would expect from someone who was totally MK Ultra?
Well, let's discuss what MK Ultra is. Let's
Great.
have a definitive, like, because we can just speculate all day.
Right.
Well, she went to this hospital and this happened, and her father, and
Mhm.
K-Fed was doing the best he could when he wasn't having his pants fall off his ass. Like, no, see, he was a good father. He stepped up, whatever bullshit, right? We can go on all the speculation, but I prefer to stick to things that I know to be truth, to be facts. For
Yes.
example, Paris Hilton talked about the school he sent her to for bad kids or whatever, where she got reprogrammed. You got that whole what's her name? Cash Me Outside, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Went to the ranch, right? Then you've got Justin Trudeau. I love this one. Justin Trudeau got punched in the face by a 7-year-old Matthew Perry. But you know why he got punched in the face by a 7-year-old Matthew Perry?
What do you
Because
do?
their parents sent them off to boarding school
Mm,
at age 6 and 7. Diana, Princess Diana, the one thing that she fought, this is what took her out. This is why they would never let her be queen. This is why they would not allow her to. I think it might even be the reason that they killed her.
right.
She would not allow her kids to go off to boarding school because
Mm.
she knew from Charles and Lord Mountbatten, Battenberg, they're totally all Germans. Another topic, another time. The Germans, right?
Right.
Uh, Prince Charles, when he went off to that school that his father went to, that he had to leave after his Nazi sister went down in a plane.
Mm.
And that funeral was awesome as well. But that school, they literally broke them down, destroyed, they starved him, they put him in uncomfortable situations. They would be cold, they would be
It's
hungry,
like
they
very
would wear them out.
militarized.
Kind of sounds, well, doesn't it sound like the military?
Yeah.
A little bit, a little bit.
Mm.
Maybe that's because it's a trauma bond they're doing there.
Right.
The same thing that psychopaths, when they kidnap a little girl and they're like, we don't want her to leave. So what we're going to do is we're going to torture her
Yeah.
until she starts, like, you break down at a point and you just go with it. And that's what the military does. That's why people never leave. They don't leave the military. They
Oh
don't
yeah.
leave.
They get you for
PTSD
life.
never happens while they're in the military. It
Mm,
always happens when they're out of the military
mm.
because they are for life attached to the military with a trauma bond.
And
That's
Princess
why they're
Diana
starving in those
was
camps.
just looking out for her child,
He
didn't
was
want her to
trying to
go through
protect her
that.
children.
Yeah.
She knew that's what would happen. Prince Philip wanted them, like, to go to the same school that Prince Charles went to, and
Mm,
she knew what happened to Prince Charles there. That's why, I mean, granted, he is a husband baby, and he's super inbred, so there's that. So I'm sure that was rough. He probably didn't have, like, all of the abilities we have, like just having 10 toes. So I know that was rough, right? I mean, that's why he became friends with Jimmy Savile, right? Like, the poor guy's got to make friends,
mm.
that understand his plight. But Charles went through hell, and Diana knew that. And Diana's not just anybody. She was Diana Spencer. Go look at her relationship with Winston Churchill, and also the mistress that was for Edward, the Victoria's son that took over right after her. Also married
Mm,
to her cousin. That was a cousin baby too. First
mm,
cousins, ew, German all the way. Also Saxe Coburg Gotha. But these people, they send their children off to these schools. That's a puzzle piece, right?
mm.
And just by itself, there's nothing we can say that that's incriminating, that's weird, that's gross. Until you start realizing that when the Canadian government came in and tried to anglicize anyone who was Inuit, they sent them off to what boarding school? Well, that's what we do with our kids. Billy goes away at age 5. Send them off at 5 years old,
Mm.
6 years old, to boarding schools away from their parents completely. What do you think goes on there? Even if they don't get sexually abused or physically abused, what do kids do to each other when there's no supervision in that aspect?
Oh, it's like
They're
the
mean.
jungle out there. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. They're not being supervised because
Mm,
the person that you're paying to watch your kids is never going to have the eyes on them that the parent themselves has. So
mm.
we're talking about an entire culture of people. Paris Hilton in America got sent to one as well. Lindsay Lohan got sent to one. Britney Spears went to a music camp.
Mm.
Yes, Disney has their own special music camps for these kids. And this is on that aristocratic model. When you take a child away from their parents, the most an 8-year-old kid should be away from their parents is maybe a week,
Mm.
maybe a week at sleepaway camp within driving distance of your home, right? They send their kids off the entire year
Yeah, the whole
to go
year.
live with people who don't love them.
Mm.
What do you think goes on? Maybe they get abused. Maybe they get trauma bonded to their peers that they happen to all do business with the rest of their lives, right? John McAfee went to one of those schools as well.
Mm.
Yeah, Edward Snowden went to one of those schools as well. Epstein went to one of those schools as well,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
The Unabomber, we know what they did to him. What they do is they break these children. These are children, by the way. They break these I don't have any parents children down, and now their loyalty is not to their family.
Mm.
Their family's not their peer group anymore. They don't get their sense of self-esteem from their family. Now they get it from their peer group. And it is it's what is it, the Lord of the Flies. It's the
Yes.
Lord of the Flies situation. Now they have no supervision except for, like, someone who maybe makes sure they get food, and that's it.
Mm.
And they're all fighting amongst each other. They think it instills competition, is what they say,
Mm.
right? And the worst thing is they pay like $200,000 a year to have the privilege of neglecting their children. And
Jeez.
they separate these kids, and then the MK Ultra kicks in. When you've got stories like Ted Kaczynski, they used drugs
Mm.
to separate him from his peer group, and he never really came back out the other side of that. Charles Manson, the same deal. They
Mm.
used drugs to separate him from his peer group. He also grew up in the prison system. When you're institutionalized, whether it's a prison or whether it's the military or whether it's a boarding school, right? Or whether it's being in academia, I mean, those who can't do, they teach, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be a teacher forever. It's going to be
Mm.
awesome. I can't wait. I hate children because I don't have any, but I'm going to totally be the one in charge of these. Like,
Mm.
what? But this institutionalization of people, it's not because they're stupid, and it's not because they're not capable. It's because they're trauma bonded indoctrinated. They do it with doctors too, darling. When a person goes off for their first intern year, right? Their first shift at a hospital, they make them do it for like 90 hours.
Oh, they're
And they
totally
don't
sleep
eat. And they
deprived.
don't.
Everything.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing they do in the military. Hell
Same.
week.
Yeah.
It is
Any
a trauma
institution.
bond. And then so when the
Yes.
hospital goes, well, that's not the truth. This is the thing. They go, well, I'm trauma bonded here.
Mm,
We went through boot camp together. I'm
right.
not going to go against Carol. I'm not going to speak out about that. Why would I? We went through internship together.
Mm.
We didn't sleep for 5 days.
Do you ever see
It's
people who
indoctrination.
are, because they're put into this camp, we're not saying like camp A, camp B type of thing, but like, they're
Camps are
put
weird.
through they're like put through the institutionalized trauma bond, that Stockholm syndrome type of mindset.
Yes.
Do you ever see anyone break out of that? Do you ever see people who are able to kind of reprogram themselves after going through all this?
I don't know. Even if they do, again, I think PTSD, people that are in the military
Mm,
do not get PTSD while in the military. They get,
after.
I mean, I'm not saying there might be a couple cases where they do,
Mm,
but most of the time, I mean, I would say at least like 85% of the time, people that suffer from PTSD get it after they leave the military because you never really leave the military,
mm.
right?
So that's
And when it
the
comes,
traumatic event is being detached from. It's almost like a maternal
it's a
source, right?
trauma bond.
Yeah.
If we go through hell together, we're going to be friends for life.
Mm,
There's because we went through hell together. We fought hell together, right? Like there are things that guys in the military will do for their people they went to military with. They would never even do for their own parents. They would never even do for their own brother because that's their family unit. That's their brother. Never leave a man behind, right? Because
mm.
we're a family now. We're a unit. We're fighting our, sergeant because he's the one making us do it. We're fighting the military. We're fighting together, right?
Yeah.
And there's all that indoctrination that comes with that. Why do they always send the war? We know, but yes, there's no one that gets out of this. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time one of your friends went to go see a psych? Maybe wasn't having the best like mood. Like I'm a little bit depressed. Granted, there's a pandemic. They're totally like disenfranchising people and taking their bank accounts away in Canada. And
Mm,
like France has been, protesting for 3 years. And I'm worried. I'm worried about the price of eggs. I need to go see a doctor. And they go and they throw them on some medicine. First meeting, first visit.
mm.
Nope, they don't examine them.
No.
They don't do brain scans. They don't do CAT scans. They don't do MRIs. They just go, well, I'm going to let the crazy person tell me what's wrong with them and I'm going to believe it.
I've seen it happen. I've seen it
And then they put them
happen.
on drugs.
Yes. And just like you're talking about, they don't ask about like what are you eating? How much sunlight are you getting? Are you
I
going
got off Paxil after 6 months of therapy and I'm great. You never hear that.
Mm-mm. No, yeah,
That's why
it's
it's called therapist. You put a space in it, it spells the rapist because they never leave. They want these people trauma bonded
mhm.
because they're making money off of them. Of course, they're going to feel like victims when they have someone they trust that they're paying to trust. Always listen to your lawyer. You're paying your lawyer to look out for your best interest. They're paying these people their hard-earned money, and the insurance company is too. I mean, everybody. I mean, it's a big circle. It's a big circle fuck. It's disgusting.
Yeah, yeah.
But everyone's paying for this, right? And you're like, well, it was really hard, and I feel better for now.
Mm.
It's probably because of the medication, not because I actually have someone I can talk to for the first time and I'm
Oh
paying them
no.
to listen
Mm-mm.
so I can be myself and be honest. It couldn't be that. It's the drugs. And they're throwing darts, going, huh, hope we don't get hit up with another school shooting. Hope we don't get a school shooting out of this one. Come on, no school shooting. Like, here's some drugs. Oh, see you in a month. If those don't work, don't worry. You can come see me every month for the next 3 years, and you can keep taking the medication, and you can talk for a little while, and I'm going to overcharge you $400. And you know what? We're never going to look at your brain. We're never
Yeah.
going to do a CAT scan. We're never going to do a brain scan. I'm never going to even actually physically look at you at all.
They're just
You should just
drug
trust the
dealers,
doctor.
basically. Yeah. And
Well, it's
Missy,
worse than drug dealers
yeah. Oh, it's worse than that.
because
And
drug
they're
dealers you can trust.
yeah. I
They, I
mean,
mean, but
it's
cartels trying to protect their clients. These
mhm.
people aren't trying to protect their clients at all. They don't care.
Mm-mm.
They don't care if they lose their minds. They push them off the edge because guess what? If that patient comes in and they go, look, I'm going to Jordan Peterson you. You need to just clean your room. pull yourself up by your big girl pants. Yeah, I'm sorry you're having a rough time, but if you just wait, it'll get better. Your brain's not even done being developed completely.
Right.
You're 22 years old. Maybe you shouldn't be smoking weed. It's probably not good for the long term, considering your medulla oblongata has not completely, been formed yet. So I suggest maybe don't do drugs. Maybe develop some hobbies that turn the TV off, right? Don't take these drugs. Find some natural remedies. Eat right. Drink enough water. Make sure you have a balanced diet. And I hope I never see you again. That doesn't
Exactly.
happen.
Nope, it never happens. It's not a
It is an
profitable model.
industry.
No.
The
But let me
people
ask
the
you this,
people on the
Missy.
streets that are crazy, they just let it ride, and the people that are not crazy are paying to be told they are. It's
Oh
crazy. It's
yeah, I
up,
mean,
as above, so below.
someone's collecting that paycheck in the end. But I kind of want to ask
Yes.
you in a similar way because if we're talking about pharmaceuticals, which is the new kind of like fascist mafia, you could say, or it's not new at all, but it's becoming.
I watched a furry kill an Antifa member this year. I don't think it gets any weird when it comes to fascism and these groups anymore. A
Oh yeah,
furry
it's
shot a member of Antifa to death in a Portland park.
yikes. Yeah. Well, did I ever tell you that President Obama came to speak at my high school back in 2012?
Well, he was a community organizer,
Hmm.
so he's good at
Yeah.
speaking.
No,
You know what
yeah.
his grandmother was, right?
No, I didn't really know much about his family, but it was, my high school was a mile down the street from Sandy Hook, and he came to us to speak. And basically, this whole experience, this was my senior year of high school. I graduated 2013, like I said, and at Newtown High School, President Obama at that time came to speak to us, and his message, his broadcasted message, wasn't really about the things that you had just mentioned. It wasn't about like making sure that these kids are loved and they're not being inflicted with this kind of trauma programming. It didn't even take into question pharmaceuticals that these shooters could be on, and the kinds of lifestyles that they might have. No, it was all about the Second Amendment, and that was like the distraction there. It was like, let's talk about guns. Let's not think about the spiritual and mental problems that these people go through. Let's just focus on the weapons. And that really started to get me thinking. I'm not saying I'm in like Camp Alex Jones or anything like that. All I'm saying is like people should not overlook these mental and spiritual issues, especially if they take into consideration that if people are not given a fair wage, then they're going to be eating garbage, and then that garbage will cycle through them, and then their serotonin's going to drop. So
And now you're eating a credit card of plastic a week.
yes, yeah, exactly. Get all those
Yeah.
microplastics in there.
Dude, it's not just that. Like when you look at these food deserts, um, it's horrifying when we were kids. I'm older than you. When I was a kid, they had the food pyramid up, and it
Mm-hmm.
was in the cafeteria. There was no getting around it, and it was bread. Most of your diet should be bread
Yeah.
and cereal.
Ugh.
Definitely. I mean, we
Yikes.
know that the Wheaties is totally safe. You're never gonna text and drive and kill a random old lady because you decided to change your downstairs mix up. Totally safe. Wheaties is awesome. Champions eat it. And it would be butter and it would be meat and then a little bit of sugar at the top. And you're
A
looking at it and
little.
you're going, but my mom said I should eat my vegetables, but this is telling me I should eat my bread.
Mm.
All this processed shit, right? Now it's gotten even worse. Now these big food corporations like Nabisco, they're actually sponsoring this program. And it's seriously idiocracy is happening. It's
Yeah.
happening. It's brought to you by Brondo. There's not even any real water in it. This is happening. The food pyramids are now being sponsored by these big food companies.
Mm.
And you want to add insult to injury? Let's talk about the bug chips. What do
Yes.
you think is going to happen? Why is it like salvia was banned? Why is it you have to like it's literally a weed. It's a weed. It
Mm.
grows out. You don't have to treat it special. It's a freaking weed, right? But it's a class 1 drug. But sugar, no one's saying a thing.
Mm-mm.
Do you know that the first time a child, especially little boys, the first time they ever have sugar?
Oh, the
Do you
first
know
time
when
they
it
have
is?
sugar at the dentist?
Hmm? No, the first time a child ever eats sugar, especially males, is, well, just males, I should say, is when they give them a circumcision to keep them from being in pain. They give them
Oh,
a little thing of sugar.
there's the original trauma
100%.
bond to this
Yes, it
medical
is.
institution.
Of course
Yeah.
it is. Of
Yeah.
course it is. It's not, there's always an original trauma bond. Television, it was
Mm.
soap commercials and Chesterfield cigarettes because, 4 out of 5 doctors recommended it. These guys are great. Let me just tell you, like, we should totally trust the Rockefeller education system. They're turning out winners. So 4 out of 5 doctors recommend Chesterfields. And the other things that were advertised was soap. That's why they're called soap operas. So you're telling me
Oh,
that
wow.
it's
Okay.
just a coincidence that something you become addicted to and something that washes your brain?
Hmm.
Really?
I know we had
That's
joked
just a
earlier about
coincidence.
Freud. You could talk about Jung and Edward Bernays and all these people who put
Oh,
this
well,
into
Edward,
action.
Edward
Yeah.
Bernays invented breakfast. Breakfast
Yes.
is a freaking grandfather in psyop.
Right.
People don't
Right.
realize that. That's a change in cultural history, just like the living room, just
Mm-hmm.
like diamond rings when you get
Mm-hmm.
married.
Mm-hmm.
That was a marketing campaign that has now become grandfathered in, so we don't even question it. The pork industry hired Bernays, got milk, right? That's
Mm.
weird. Why would the dairy industry need to advertise, by the way? Every home has a milk in it. Trust me, if there's a snowstorm, no milk. You can't find it. First thing people buy is eggs, milk. So why do they need to advertise for milk? That's weird, isn't it?
It is very weird. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's because that's what they did in the beginning to get people to drink it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The milk was more powerful and more valid to people in caloric form. In cheese, it would last longer. Milk didn't last long.
Mm-mm.
People didn't drink milk. They didn't. They turned it into butter. They turned it into yogurt. They turned it into cheese because that lasted. People didn't drink milk until they had that campaign. And what's in the milk now? How many hormones?
Oh
It's
yeah.
all pasteurized for our health. You know who invented that? How's that guy doing? I heard he wasn't
Mm.
doing great. Pasteur did not. He's like with the watch dial girls somewhere, like hanging out with Mary Curie, be like, maybe this was bad. Maybe we should have
Yeah.
been more careful. They pasteurize the crap out of the milk. All the nutrients are removed from it. It's pretty much like just drinking water at that point.
Yeah. I was
And
always
the
clued into that because my
gross
father had like really bad Crohn's disease, and like he would basically tell me like if I
allegedly.
have one drop of milk, like I'm totally done for. But
Let
then
me
he would
let me tell you.
say,
Let me add one more layer to
but then
this.
he could say I could just have butter and I'm totally fine. It's like, but that's made of milk, and he's like, no, it just doesn't affect me the same way.
Yes, you don't think that other people don't have that problem?
Mm,
We're not supposed to drink milk except from our mother. And the
mm.
vegans, God, I can't stand them, but they are right when they say that cow's
That's the
milk is a
one thing that I read
species
about. Yeah.
specific food designed for baby calves, not people. Now it can be used to make
Mm,
stable, shelf stable items with the fat content that we need for our diet. But
mhm.
milk is pretty pointless. And the worst part is, are you ready for the most disgust? Here's the pink meat. Are you ready for this? 1% milk, 2% milk is just watered down fucking milk.
Yeah. Right. Right.
You could buy whole milk and save the jug from the last time you had the 1% and just fill up this much of it with distilled water and pour some milk in. You got 1% milk.
Mm,
They're fucking people. It's horrible.
yeah.
It's almost as bad as the bottled water people.
Oh man, yeah.
We're selling
Don't
you
get me started on
water.
that. Yeah.
What's
I
next? Are
mean,
they going
like,
to sell us air?
it's like a bag of chips. They got like 30% air at the
Hmm?
top of it. Yeah.
100%, yeah.
Mm,
But I'm telling you, big food, when you look at these charts of who owns what and who's in charge of what, these global, I know I sound like I shows myself now, these
globalist.
globalist pot-bellied demons, yeah, Sandy Hook, he's not wrong though. These globalists have been setting us up to knock down the pens forever.
Mm,
I mean, the whole concept of paper money, that came from the Russians. Oh, gotta blame them. The Russians did it. The Russians pressuring Abraham Lincoln. He didn't free the slaves because he gave a shit. Because if he cared, he would have freed them on day one of the war. And he wouldn't have waited to free everyone from Maryland until 1865. In
mm.
1863, it was only the southern states that were in rebellion against the North that were allowed to have their free slaves. Maryland kept their slaves. That was till 1865. If he cared, why not just free all of them at the beginning of the war? Day one, the first battle, the first cannon, everyone's free. That's what you should have done, right? If you were an
That's what should have
abolitionist,
happened.
that's what
Absolutely.
should have happened. But he didn't care about that. But the Russians came over and they were like, listen, uh, Abe, I know you're not that honest. You have Marfan syndrome. Something's wrong with you. Apparently, your wife thinks she sees ghosts. I suggest that you make your money paper money because you owe us so much gold, and we know that your country's about to have a civil war. So we want to get paid now, and you need to do paper money. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. And he went along with it. In his Marfan syndrome mind, he was like, I mean, I might be a lawyer, but I'm definitely a racist. And yeah, why not greenbacks? And they were paying the Irish immigrants. They were paying them to fight, right? The rich people were able to pay someone to pick up the fight for them. It was insane. But they were paying the Irish immigrants in paper money, and they wouldn't accept it because they'd just been through the potato famine, and they knew that it was bullshit. They refused to accept the paper money. So that's the only reason we even have like the coins we do now.
You got to know your history like that. I mean, you brought up a couple things I wasn't aware of. Yeah.
If you know the history, they call it the Democratic playbook, but I think it's just everyone's a second citizen of Israel playbook. If we know what they've done, they can't fuck us because we'll see it coming. They want to hide and cover up our history because they're not creative. Demons can't create. They were made to serve. They were made to worship. That's why they say that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. It doesn't say anywhere that they get Ghostbusters with women, right?
No.
Nowhere written there.
I have a question for you,
Missy. They can't create.
Because this definitely relates, I mean, as like an overarching theme here, because I've got a normie.
People are going to have to turn on the slowdown because I've been talking too fast.
Oh, it's okay. Y'all. Yeah, I mean,
I get excited easily.
I'm glad that you're fired up because, you know, this is what fires me up as well, is like the fact that, okay, so I want to ask you, my normie friend is like, Jake, why do you waste time looking at conspiracies? And now I'm thinking about what you're saying, that if you learn history, if you learn the playbook, learn what they've done, then you'll be able to.
It's not just that.
It's not just that.
Okay. Our children, there is such thing as epigenetic memory. It's a thing.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's worried about. I hope they don't bring this back again. They are I'm telling you right now, people will not stand. Our grandchildren will not stand for what we went through the last couple of years with these lockdowns and these mandates and all, because the epigenetic memory that is passed down is going to tell them immediately to revolt. They're not going to allow it.
Now I'm starting to wonder
glad
what
this
mRNA
was as traumatic
does.
as it was.
Yeah.
Trump had to lose, dude. He had to lose. He had to, so it could get as bad as humanly possible. And it could get as, like, these people could just have a free reign, do horrible things, right? You know, they got hammers coming out of book bags. You know, I don't know what's going on. I'm pretty sure it's the same hammer that Hillary Clinton used to smash her phones with. And for some reason, Nancy Pelosi still can't keep her teeth in her mouth. All that money and she can't get implants? Really? She's a speaker. Really? Really? She can't. Do you think she gets hammered and draws on her eyebrows being like, I look great today? Right? Like, this person can't draw on their eyebrows, but we're trusting them on the budget. Her husband's a drunk who hangs out with sex slave according to his children, right? And not just one hammer, he had another one in his book bag. This is a problem.
Yeah.
These are people in charge.
Right.
This had to happen. He had to lose. It had to get as bad as humanly possible because we can't forget this. This needs to only happen once. It doesn't need to happen again. The stuff that's going on with the children in California, where they're cutting off, you know, parts so they can look like Baphomet. It is Baphomet worship. Or maybe they just want to look like their hero, Michelle Obama. I don't know. But this Baphomet worship stuff, like, this has to be awful. We all have to go through this trauma together as a society. This needs to be a collective memory in our epigenetic memory, so they can't come back and do this to our grandchildren or our great-grandchildren because they're going to see it coming. It's like a safety fail that biology or God or whatever, I believe in God, but it's a safety fail that's put in so these people can't continue to fuck us like this. What's insane to me, though, is the fact that when people look at the documents in front of them, they got it in their hand, right? And they're like, you guys are lying. This is crazy. I'm like, do you understand how government documents work? I know you're not stupid. I've seen you memorize things. You're a very smart man. Really? I gave you the document. It's got the seal on it. Like, what? You don't believe the document? But you'll believe the doctor when he's like, well, you got to start putting the injections between your toes because your veins are getting worn out from all those boosters, right?
Yikes.
They'll believe that. But they won't believe the paper in front of them. Like, we are dealing with not just being attacked by vaccines. not just being attacked in our food, not just being attacked by them removing our history, not just being attacked by the constant barrage of propagandistic bullshit that goes to the TV, not just being attacked by being trained from a young age to march lockstep, raise your hand, may I please go to the bathroom, that's fucked, right? We're taught to be polite, we're taught to be, don't make a mess, right? And we're told, like, when a bell rings, you do something. And if you don't, then you're a piece of shit. And if you do drugs, you're a monster. And we don't care about you. We're going to remove you from your life. But if you get a job as a high-powered CEO because you're a workaholic, we're going to reward you with bonuses when you ditch your family and hurt the people you love, right? It's coming at us from all directions. And the technology that's coming in is it's really scary. It's really scary because now we're talking about the epigenetic memory being put aside for whatever the bot chip they put in their head tells them to do. Now the epigenetic memory is being overpowered. And that's a powerful thing. I'm worried about that. I don't think they're as far advanced as they think they are, though.
No.
Because I like watch these AI make horrific short stories about, like, and then the boy fell in love with his sister and they got married. I'm like, what? Wait, you can't just skip over that.
No.
Like,
You
what
also
was that,
shared this
Terry?
AI generated stand-up comedy bit. It was pretty interesting. Yeah. They didn't even use like proper grammar too. It was like, I thought you would be smart enough to do that.
It's so awkward. I feel
Yeah,
so uncomfortable watching it.
right. It
It's
was
not just
pretty
like that.
cringy. Yeah.
It's not just
Yeah.
like that uncanny valley thing. Like, it's just like, I'm like, ew.
Yeah. You're
So I'm
missing that
not worried
human
about
element.
Neuralink just yet. They don't know how to
No,
do
no.
this.
Mm.
I'm not worried.
I
The
like
DARPA
the
dogs are scary, though.
yeah. The robot dogs, I mean, the whole Black Mirror episode about it is like a
Why they gotta be
great
black?
like well no, like that's the name of the TV show. But yeah, no, it's
Systemic.
there's no like rainbow robot dogs running around, right? But the
Black
thing
Mirror
is,
is very right on point, though, about a lot of stuff, aren't they?
they sure are. They
Predictive
sure are.
programming. The Miley Cyrus one where they made a clone.
Yep. I really like that social credit one where they could like swipe up on people. Like that's cancel culture and basically predicted before it was even a popular term. But Missy, as a kind of a way to wrap it up, because you basically put forth this long-term generational like epigenetic exit strategy. I
But
want to call
it's
it that.
important.
It is
It's
important.
important. You got to treat your brain well, guys. Take CBD oil. Drink actual milk, not just it's skim. Because the fat thing was a diet too, by the way. Like that, all that stuff's nonsense. It's all garbage. Don't buy avocados. It comes from the cartel. But take care of your brain, because these things, when you have a baby, okay, you pass on to your baby your genes that are in your body currently. If you are fat and you have a baby, if you're overweight and you have a baby, your baby is going to be overweight. It's
Right.
proven. If you lose weight and you get healthy and you have another baby, that baby's going to be skinny and not have problems with their weight. You pass on the things that are going on with you currently to your child. That's why they tell you not to get stressed out as a mom when you're pregnant, because you're literally passing the stress on to your baby. So we need to take care of our brains, because we need to be able to share. I don't want my great grandkids being locked on Christmas Island going, well, didn't this just happen 100 years ago?
It's like deja
I mean, I
vu
see
right
them
here.
wearing masks.
Yeah.
I don't want this to happen to my great grandbabies. And we got to take care of our brains. We got to take care of our bodies. And we need to make sure that, like, we pass this memory on. The time to mourn and freak out is over. I asked my dad the other day why all this stuff happened all at once. What was it? We had 100 laptop stuff being sued. We had the Pfizer guy be like, I had 3 drinks, maybe I'll get lucky, I'll tell the truth now. And then we had the Paul Pelosi, the PPDP video stuff came out. Then we had the Eliza Blue thing going on. It was like literally the whole day was just packed of stuff. And I asked my dad, I was like, well, what are they trying to hide? It must be something big. He goes, don't you understand? They've been spoon feeding us for 3 years. You can feed yourself now. And if you
Yeah.
can't, I'm sorry, natural progression. We're not here to wake people up anymore. We're here to catch people up. There's plenty of people that are going to wake them up. There's plenty of people that are going to hammer them with knowledge and be so proud of themselves like little baby Christians, because they can quote all the scriptures and they know all the passages about flat earth and the CIA stuff. They can quote it word for word, right?
Mm.
They can quote every single doctor that's touched COVID's name, and they're so proud of how well they have learned their scriptures, and they can repeat it, and that's great. Those people, they're doing a job I don't care to do. But it starts out to wake people up. I'm sorry, or it starts out to catch people up
Catch
and let
people
them
up.
just wake people up,
Mm.
because there's so much more. Like COVID's just one little
This
thing
is the iceberg
in this
here.
whole thing.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years, it's over. Remember they asked for amnesty?
Mm.
Yes, let's give them amnesty, because what we need to do is we need to move on, because people need to stop being traumatized. They
Yes.
need to get back to normal. And until we quit talking about this stuff, we're not going to have the documents for 75 years anyways, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be like
What's
JFK,
done is
like
done.
70 years later, no one's gonna care, and then it's gonna be
Oh,
released. Yeah.
people hate me for saying this, but it's the truth. What's done is done. I
Mm.
can't help anyone any more
Right.
than I already have. I was screaming from the rooftops in May of 2020 that this was a lab leak, and my friends and family wouldn't talk to me or be friends with me. The
Mm.
last year has been called the apology tour, because I was right about everything.
Yes.
And they were all like, well, what else do you have to tell me? I'm like, I'm not researching that anymore. I told you what I had to tell you. But you can go in
It's done.
Spaces or Clubhouse. Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
It's done. And if people have vaccinated themselves, and they vaccinated their grandchildren and vaccinated their children, and they got the boosters, I don't know what to do for you guys. We told you not to do it. You did it anyways. I don't know what to tell you.
Mm.
We told you not to do it, and you did it. We like got banned from stuff. We lost money. We got fired from our jobs,
Mm.
right? We've been ostracized by our family. We've lost all of our friends. We've been banned from social media. We've lost our art because they removed it and we didn't have a chance to back it up, right? There's people that are just gone. We'll
Yeah.
never see them again. They wiped out all this truth community stuff because we had the gall to do what news is supposed to do by being, we got it to you first, here first, it's coming from a lab.
Yeah.
It's definitely triple stacked. They use HIV to make it. Don't take the vaccine. It's causing heart attacks, and little girls are having their periods at 3 because their mom got vaccinated twice. Don't do it. Just quit your job. Go live in a camper. Find something else out.
Mm.
Don't do it though. Don't take it. And they didn't listen. And they vaccinated their children. And now they're like, well, we gotta wake people up. I'm like, oh, honey,
Mm.
you should have listened. Now, oh, and it's the worst. The worst part is the people that have vaccinated their kids, they're gone. Because the minute you do that to your child, you have two choices. I screwed up. People told me, and I believe the TV over my family,
Right.
and my child's now injured. Or they go, well, we were never wrong. I did the best I could.
Mm.
I'm a good mother. Those are the options. So they're gone. Either way, they're gone. They've done something horrible to their child, and they're never going to be okay about it. It's not going to be okay. And this isn't just like their child could die of a vaccine like related injury. We're not
Mm.
just talking about like, we might end up with a couple extra, Rain Mans running around. This warps people's DNA. And if you don't believe me, go look at what happened with the Gulf War syndrome.
Mm.
The Oklahoma City bombing building, sorry, was full of 400,000 soldiers, medical records. They were having flipper babies. They'd come home, have sex with their wife. Their wife would get ovarian and uterine cancer because they got vaccinated with this super anthrax twice without doing any testing on it. And their entire genetic line, their grandkids are having flipper babies.
Mm.
It messes with the DNA. But they eliminated all the evidence in the Oklahoma City bombing building. By the way, Timothy McVeigh himself was a vaccination victim of the Gulf War syndrome. Did you know that?
I
Gary
did
Nichols
not.
as well.
No.
Yes, they both were. The other thing held in that building was the Whitewater documents tied to Hillary Clinton. Never in your life you're going to see like an FBI agent walking around with a baker's box, oh, we get these out of the way. I know there's children in the daycare, but the papers, we can't have evidence. They might find out what we've done here.
I'm
But that's
thankful
what they
you brought this up because I was born in April of 1995, like the same week of this bombing in Oklahoma, and I never really had the opportunity to
What
like
day in
have.
April, if you don't mind me asking, or what second week, first week?
Say it again. What?
What day in April were you, like, what day, what's your birthday in
Oh,
April?
thank you for asking. I will be turning 28 years old on the 28th of April.
Well, you made it through 27. A lot of them don't.
I know, Missy. You know what's crazy? I was in the 27 club in two different ways. So I did my podcast. I started in March of 2022, and I did 27 episodes, and then I quit for like 6 months and just took time off, moved to Texas, and I didn't know if I was gonna come back. And
You needed to.
I
This
thank
this
you,
shit we
thank you.
look at, the stuff we look at is horrible. We look at horrible, horrible, disgusting, evil things and still have to be positive all the time.
Exactly. Like despite all
It's
that
awful. It's
darkness, like
hard. You needed a break.
you're giving me the ultimate white pill because like now I'm more committed to not only sharing what I believe to be true and what I've researched, but also like finding someone else to start a family with who will not pass on the same BS that was
Yes.
passed on to us. That's like the
My
generational
father
exit strategy. Yes.
my father he had something happen. He had an esophageal bleed, blood everywhere, like was throwing up blood. I know because I cleaned it up. That
Oof.
was awful too. But
Yeah.
they took him off the ambulance, took him to the hospital. He refused to take any of their, as he put it, homeless people, drug addict, vaccinate. We don't even know how many they got or what kind of needles they got in there, but I'm not taking this blood. He's like, and
Mm,
by the way they collect it is immoral, and paying for it is wrong because you're taking advantage of homeless people and keeping them in that drug ridden trap. That's what my
mm,
dad said. Southern Baptist minister, very smart man. He refused the bags of blood. But because he's my blood type, I was like, okay, look, I know he's being difficult. You guys don't want him here for a week. I know you don't want to deal with this. You think he's crazy now? Huh.
yeah,
Wait
just
till
give
he's
him
like,
seven
he has to
days.
sit in the
Yeah.
bed for 4 days and he's bored.
Mm,
No, just trust me. Just let me give him my blood. And that they used to do that. They used to give you a direct transfusion from the
mm,
donor to the donee. Why would you need to put it in a bag and try to store it? Like that actually messes with the quality of the blood. It's better
yeah.
to have a direct transfusion. Well, because I wasn't vaccinated and because he wasn't vaccinated, they wanted me to send them my blood, wait 4 days. But I'm like, well, he needs the blood now. That's the whole point. He's not going to take the blood you're going to offer me. I'm
Mm.
his family member. I'm clean. I don't do drugs, obviously. I mean, other than like whatever it is we're doing rabbit holes on, I'm addicted. But I'm like, just take my blood. We can do a direct blood transfusion. They were like, no, we can't allow you in the hospital. I was like, okay, I will give me the kit. I'll go out by the dumpster and I will fill 2 bags for you and bring it back and you can just keep it. Okay,
Mm.
Keisha. And you just fill out your paperwork being like, somebody left bags of blood and we threw it in the biohazard. No one's gonna know the
You're
difference.
just trying to help
No, they
him.
wouldn't let me do that. They would not let me give my father my own blood. I was like fighting them for 3, 4 days. They wouldn't let me give my father my own blood. He could have died,
That sounds crazy to
but
think
he
about it.
also
Like,
would not take the vaccinated blood. So
yeah,
what does that tell you? He'd rather die than take their blood.
he's a smart guy.
I
Yeah.
watched one of my friend's daughters. She thought she knew what she was doing. She had to get it for work. She worked in a hotel, had to get to them, got her second vaccination, and her 3-year-old daughter got her period.
What?
100%
3 years old?
shedding, which we didn't know was a thing until recently. That's totally a thing. It sounds crazy. I don't care anymore. I'm like, F it, I'm crazy. There's lizard people, and the turn of the frog's gay.
Hmm.
And they definitely like paid off everybody connected to Sandy Hook's houses in the tax department as of December of 2009. Everyone even closely connected to Sandy Hook got their house paid off. They sent pallets of cash to Iran. I'm a crazy person, and vaccine shedding's a real fucking thing. It's a real thing. Why wouldn't it be? Like, we're shedding biology. If we can get someone sick, why couldn't we get someone sick with the virus that they
Hmm.
injected in us to fight the sickness? Wouldn't that just like make sense? Right? But now you're crazy, and you need to go back to you need an education. Why didn't you pay the $200,000 for the piece of paper? You're stupid, right? Right?
Wow.
We're not dumb. We're not stupid.
No.
As long as there's breath in my body, I don't care if people love me. I don't care if people hate me. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to point out. I don't care. I hope this all goes away and I never have to speak again. And I can just go read books and hang out in my backyard in my hammock swing or go sail in a sailboat and never have to say the word Jeffrey Epstein ever again. I would love for that to happen.
Hmm.
So let's get everybody caught up so the rest of us can take a vacation like you did and not have to be here. But until that day comes, I'll be pissing people off left and right and saying things that are offensive because it's the truth. And if you don't like, if I talk too fast, go into your settings and just turn me down a
Yeah,
little bit,
slow
or
down a
don't
little
watch at
bit.
all,
Yeah.
because maybe this message isn't for you. We always catch the right people at the right time because it's divinely like intended. The right
Yes.
people I run into the right people every single time.
Mm.
Every single time. God puts the right people in front of me to give them the information that they need when they need to hear it. It's uncanny how
Amen
often
to
this
that,
happens.
Missy. Yes.
So there is a
Yes.
God, there's a plan. And so I'm not shutting up, guys. I'm going to talk too fast. I'm not going to shut up. If you don't like it, go do your research, become an expert, start a podcast, fight the devil with your creativity because they can't do
Mm.
it. The opposite of war isn't peace, it's creation. Go, go, go turn your closet into the creepiest tiny room ever and take this from me by being better at researching, please. And then you can talk as slow as you want, and you don't have to hear me say it. I'm so sick and tired of people criticizing how fast I talk because they can't keep up because they're not doing their
Well,
research.
Missy, if people are currently listening, I don't know how long we've been talking, maybe almost 2 hours. This
There
has
is no
been,
such thing as time. It's a man-made concept and it's wrong.
and this
So
is
it's
what
I
people
don't know,
stay
here it
for,
is.
like you've dropped a lot of truth here. You've dropped a lot of encouragement too, despite how dark this conversation
Because
may
I
have
believe in
turned.
y'all.
Yeah,
I
and
believe y'all, like you, right now. I'm not gonna like tell you that taking a break was wrong. You are here right now, right?
mm,
You're working hard, right? You put yourself out there, right? People could criticize you, right? People could find your home and make your life very uncomfortable,
oh
couldn't
yeah,
they?
mm,
You have
I'm pretty
put
easy to
yourself
find.
out there. You have had the balls to tell the truth with your face where anyone could come after you at any time, at anywhere, and there's nothing you can do about it. They can find you from, I mean, if they can find Shia LaBeouf shit, they can
Mm,
find anybody.
all right, all right.
This, what we're doing, it is hard. It is uncomfortable. I would rather be doing anything else. This is Friday night. I'm spending my Friday night giving you guys the truth instead of having a life. I could be drunk in my garage right now, like playing music and painting, but instead I'm here talking about, David Hogg and Sandy Hook and all
Mm,
this nonsense because I love you guys and I want to give you the tools to take care of yourself. We're not meant to do this for a very long period of time. It makes us crazy,
mm,
right?
yes.
And then we end up like talking too fast and pissing people off. Please, God, anybody out there, if you have a literal phone in your pocket, Twitter Spaces going all the time. There's always something there. You've got a Clubhouse still rocking. Sometimes a little bit weird. Be careful what you go into there.
Mm.
Don't argue with people because there's no point. The internet,
Be a
you'll
good
never get to
listener.
the end of that bridge. But if you've got a phone in front of you, you can go on Twitter Spaces. You can start a space of your own anytime
Mhm.
you want. Anytime you want, you can record it. You've got a podcast now.
Yep.
Now you are educating people. You're not just running your mouth and trying to look cool in front of your friends or being afraid of what your coworker says. Now you're a content creator and you are passing the buck and you're keeping this train moving. I want everyone to go out and I will help you. If anybody starts something, franticbooking@gmail.com, Frantic Missy on Twitter, I will send people your way. I will drag us all up into the light together. That's the whole plan. I want us all to be doing well. I want us all to be happy and us all able to keep doing this monstrous amount of disgusting, evil, hard on your soul work. And the
Yes.
more we
Yes.
share, the easier it is on us. But if I can't make you do it, I can't make you keep up, I can't make you start a podcast. We all need to be doing that. That's the best way to fight these assholes. Create. They can't do it.
If you bring
They
out what
can't.
is within you, it'll save you. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
The truth will set you free.
Yes. Well said,
And
Missy.
I,
Well
I, I
said.
I'm just, I get so like, I'm just so tired right now. It's
Mm.
just, I'm tired of like saying the same things over and over again. I'm tired of like people not seeing what's right in front of them. And my heart's broken because all these people didn't listen when I tried to save them and their children and their family. And now they're like facing this thing and we don't know what's going to happen. And it bums me out. But it's the more people that speak, the more people will listen. And we just got to like band together and keep going.
I feel that, Missy. Yeah, it's as heartbreaking as this all is, it kind of pushes me to just continue doing this. I mean, just like you said, I'm not really
You
like,
tried to run away and you couldn't.
yeah, I mean, there are times where I'm like, you know what, maybe my normie friend's correct. I should stop doing this and
You should
like,
stop calling your normie friends because that's like calling a Republican. Well, there's liberals. I'm like, well, they're all
oh yeah,
Republicans
you're
now.
right. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, he probably wouldn't
Everybody's
appreciate
on their
me.
own path.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be
Everyone's on
called
their
names.
own path. They'll
Yes,
catch up.
exactly. Yeah, we shouldn't
It's
be
not my
calling each other
job to tell someone
names.
what to think either. Me
Yeah,
either.
yeah,
Right? They'll catch up.
yeah.
Plant seeds. One
They're
of
gonna
them's got to
catch up.
catch.
Yeah. Well, good news is that, we've put a lot out here that will help to catch people up. And, I'm sure there's a lot more to come in the future. Want to remind people what you've been saying, take a break, take a deep breath.
100%.
But at the
If
same
you're not
time,
feeling comfortable or you're in a bad mood or you're getting angry or you've had enough of being around people, stop. Go find something
yeah,
fun to do. Like literally, go
my
if you have to
two
go to a water park,
cents.
go do that. Go to the
Yeah,
beach.
exactly.
Go put your feet in the sand. Go
Yeah,
camping. Camping's almost
right.
free. Eggs are up.
Go
You
touch some
got a hook
grass.
for
Yeah.
eggs, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fishing, there's plenty of things to do. Go get out in nature. Take your
Right.
shoes off. Cut off the computer. It's crazy because I was watching Jordan Peterson talking about this on Joe Rogan, where he's like, all of the energy, like I had 3 negative interactions since I started doing this. 3. He goes, but I go online, half of them are negative. I'm
Hmm.
like, because it's not real. I've traveled all over this country, airports, casinos, airport bars,
Hmm.
bathrooms randomly, concerts, comedy clubs, outside of bars at 2 a.m., not even finishing my beer, you know,
Hmm.
Ubers, just in traffic, standing in line at Walmart. All these people that I've talked to over the last 3 years, I haven't had but one negative interaction from
Yeah,
anyone. I just had the balls to say, what's up with these lizard people?
that's a great way to open.
And then people just, I know, right? Dude, Biden, what is up with that?
Hmm.
You see him on the bike and the whole line at Walmart now, and they all know they're safe to talk. So
Yes.
be the asshole that says the thing that makes people uncomfortable because that's not your
Yes.
boss. That's not your mother. That's not your child. And if you free yourself from these assholes, I'm unfireable. I own
Mm.
my own company now. Oh, God, help anyone who tries to tell me what to do because they can't now.
Now that's what I call sovereignty right there. Yeah.
I don't have any debt. I don't have a bank card. I don't have a bank account. I don't have a credit card. I don't have a business loan. I don't have a student loan. I don't have a car loan. My car's paid for. And I went ahead and took care of the Bitcoin stuff and paid for my insurance for a year while I had it. I don't have anything they can take. They can
That's the
take
way to do it.
nothing from me.
Hmm.
I'm unfireable. So
Missy's got
I don't give
everything
a
to gain.
fuck if
Everything
people
to
don't like what
gain.
I have to say. I'm not
Yes.
here to please them. I'm here to help the people that need me. And they always find me when they do. And it's awesome when people get all judgy about truth stuff. And I'm
Mm.
just like, well, what have you looked? Well, I heard on this. I'm like, would you read? Did you read anything?
Mm.
No. Well, I heard.
To
I'm like,
verify
this is
anything.
the
Yeah.
worst game of. This is worse. The worst telephone I've ever seen. By
Yeah.
the time the facts they get around to it, it's completely warped. And I'm
Mm.
like, I know you're not stupid. You memorized all this stuff. You're not dumb. Why can't you read?
Mm.
Why do you not want to read it? I know it's uncomfortable. You think looking up trafficked children or mass graves in Canada is a fun way to spend your weekend?
Mm-mm.
Slapping cameras out of people's hands when they take a picture of your kid, waking up and checking all the doors in the middle of the night, be like, oh, Hillary Clinton might kill me. She does it all the time, right? That's not fun. I
No.
hate being in that position, but it needs to be done. Someone has to fight for these people that can't fight for themselves. And it's our job to pass this information along. And if we just keep being positive and keep it up and keep creating and keep passing the buck and peer pressuring, forcing, and basically like laughing at people until they do their own thing and start their own movement, it has to be done.
Yeah. Has to be done,
I'm
and
exhausted right now, guys.
future
This is
generations
what
will benefit
happens when
from
you look
this.
up monkeypox for 3 days in a row.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, you're hard. You've earned this kind of exhaustion by doing all this research and
All I
the
get is a cold piece of pizza for dinner.
yeah.
This is what happens. I'm doing this for you guys. Start
Right,
your own podcast. There's no
right.
excuse now.
You got to hit up Missy, and I want to ask you as we wrap up. You've got a couple shows that you've been working on. One is called Allegedly, right?
Allegedly, well, allegedly.
Allegedly.
It's under the Smoking Gun Cafe channel on YouTube. My partner, we have a 3-hour show we do on Saturday nights. It's from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, sorry, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes we start at 10 to bring people in the chat, but it starts at 11. It goes till 1. The first hour is going through news. The second hour is we go through some sort of conspiracy. And the third hour is we bring up people in StreamYard on the panel that want to ask questions, you guys. And we give you some time, and you either ask our guest or you ask us your questions, and we take questions from the chat, and we want it to be like coast to coast, but fun and with faces attached to it. So it feels more like a show than like, the darkness that comes from finding out the truth. There's lots to laugh at. If you ever feel bummed out, just think about the fact that Michelle Obama probably has a dick.
Yeah,
And you'll laugh. You'll laugh
yeah.
and it'll be fine. And like it's dark, but you got to tell jokes. I also have on Sunday nights the Who's This What's That comedy show. It's a game show that's in Twitter Spaces. The guy that hosts his name Vince. I always put that up. Follow me on Twitter, Frantic Missy. Wow, what a lot of fun! It's a room full of people, and we guess the wrong answer for these, and it's a real game show. People get kicked out. It's a real thing, and it's the most fun. And you can answer yourself through the tweets and give us suggestions of what you think these things are, and
Nice.
participate. And I would love to see you guys there because it's just a good way to laugh on a Sunday night. And I also have coming up fucking knowledge. Just put an F in front of the word knowledge. Nothing is silent. Fucking knowledge. That's going to be my YouTube short series where I'm going through the iceberg of conspiracies and trying to sum up each one into a minute and 10-second video.
Nice.
So that's coming up too.
Lots of good stuff coming up, Missy, and I appreciate.
I'm never doing a podcast that's tired again. I'm literally rambling and I'm looking at a piece of pizza like it owes me money.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
I'm
keep you any
tired.
longer. I just
I
want to
got
say
up at like 4:30, so
yeah,
a.m.
definitely grateful that you've came on tonight. You've dropped the hammer of the gods, as Sam Tripoli likes to say, and I appreciate you for that. And just want to wish you an happy Friday. It's 2/3/23. Hope the spooky number magic doesn't creep on us too much, but just want
I
to say
hope the
thank you.
helicopters everywhere are safe.
Yeah. Let's start with that. Yeah, but I hope you have a
23 and
wonderful.
Me. I hope Susan Wojcicki's sister, Ann Wojcicki, is extra safe today with 23 and Me.
Well, with that being said, everyone stay safe, be vigilant, and make sure you read the whole article, please. And love you guys. Thank you, Missy.
And sleep well.
Sleep well.
So tired.
All right, take care, y'all.
I wish we could edit out the whole, I just ramble